rude boy.
No, I try not to be.
Well, you were yesterday.
We chatted about
I had a call from a lady who, and I'm not taking the hand either because I take all listeners' contact seriously.
Okay, yeah.
But a lady said it was immature and beneath us, so.
Well, we're only saying what we saw.
I know, but I agree with her. And I apologise. We shouldn't have been talking about actors and stuff.
No, I was talking to a member of staff on here yesterday, and I says, she says, no, I'm not going to even say it.
Say it.
No, I can't. I'll not get the right story now. I'm thinking on top of my head. But I said to she says, do you not think I wear frilly knickers?
Oh, wow.
She says, maybe they were mine because she was up on Sunday. And I says, no, they wouldn't be yours because they were frilly. And she says, do you not think I would wear frilly?
Well, that's a really inappropriate workplace comment. I want to completely distance myself from that one.
I know, I see. But that's...
Could be. Well, sure, listen.
You know?
Anyway, the moral of the story is, right, you and Lee went up the hill.
We had a brilliant time. An experience we'll always remember, because sometimes you say, what did we do last St. Patrick's weekend or whatever, and you're thinking, can't remember.
Building memories.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because we climbed a mountain beside us called Crockett Tree, and we always remember that. And now, so we're the next mountain now. What would you climb next?
I'd just leave it at that. I would say, right, that's
what about Muckish?
But you've climbed the highest one.
I told him there's an old tractor up there. Is there an old tractor up there?
Up Muckish, I haven't a clue.
Go and find that out.
There's an old airplane crashed in the Blue Stack Mountains. That'd be interesting to go up and see. World War II plane crash there.
Yeah, we could do that. But is there still there was rumours there was a tractor or a digger up there that was left up in Muckish. Is that still?
I haven't a clue.
Because I told Lee there is.
Well, we'll find out.
So he's going to go up. Me and him's going to go up Muckish.
I guarantee you within the next 5 months we'll know if there's a tractor or a digger up Muckish.
Now this is going to be it's rust bucket at this stage, obviously.
Oh, I know why.
They got it up, but they couldn't get it down. What is the story behind that?
Well, we'll see if we can find out.
That sounds bad, doesn't it? Right?
No, exactly. Yeah. All right, but listen, again, at least that was not childish or immature, which is very importantly. No. Okay.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. Keep her handy.
Yeah.
All right then. Bye-bye. All right, it is 9 o'clock. News update time. Well, it's a minute past. Let's go over to Donald Kavanagh.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. A major report on proposed assisted dying laws will be published later today. However, divisions have emerged in the committee overseeing it. With more, here's Stephanie Rowan.
The Oireachtas Assisted Dying Committee has been examining whether to introduce voluntary assisted dying laws here, which has been described as complex and extremely sensitive. The report recommends allowing for assisted dying in very strict circumstances, including that the person has a terminal illness with only months to live and their pain is to a level that they can't tolerate. The report will be presented this afternoon, but it's understood committee chair Michael Healy-Rae is actually dissenting against it and will hold a press briefing with Senator Ronan Mullen afterwards. This has caused division among the committee, who feels the report's being undermined. In any case, it's unlikely any legislation will be introduced in the lifetime of the current government.
A Lifford Stranraer councillor says there must be more focus on the need for improvements to the Corcom Bends on the N15 between Stranraer and Killygordon. The 1.5 kilometre stretch to the east of Stranraer has been identified as substandard and in need of realignment. A public consultation ended in December, with Donegal County Council hoping to move to a preliminary design stage within the next few weeks. However, Councillor Patrick McGowan's been told at the current rate of progress it'll be the second half of 2027 before the Council and Transport Infrastructure Ireland are ready to appoint a contractor and commence construction. He says that's not acceptable.
This is very dangerous. Even though it's a national primary road, the M15 from Stranraer to Killygordon, it's quite narrow and very, very twisty, and it's quite hard for even 2 lorries to pass at that location. So it's totally unacceptable it's going to take this long. It's been designed for at least 2 or 3 years, and I'd hope that maybe even next year that they'll be able to go to construction. But to hear now it's going to be 2027, it's totally unacceptable.
There are claims that EU militarisation will have serious implications for Ireland. A Dáil protest takes place today against any move toward a European army. Independent Donegal TD Thomas Pringle believes there has been an intensification in efforts to militarise the EU bloc.
Something that I think that everybody in Ireland should be very concerned about, because we're rapidly seeing, I think it's intensifying over the last while with the attack on Israel, and that we're rapidly seeing the wish to move towards a militarised Europe, where Germany and France are pushing for European defence forces, and that's going to be very serious.
A man is due in court today after cocaine with an estimated street value of £200,000 was seized in South Tyrone. At approximately 2:30 yesterday afternoon, officers from the PSNI's organised crime branch stopped a vehicle travelling on the Omagh Road in Dungannon. A search uncovered the suspected cocaine along with cash in both euro and sterling with a combined total value of around £50,000. A 41-year-old man arrested at the scene has been charged and will appear in court in Omagh later today. And weather forecast largely dry with sunny spells developing this morning. Cloud will increase as we head toward the evening. Top temperatures this afternoon 9 to 11 degrees Celsius with a light to moderate northerly wind. That's Highland Radio News. We're back with news again at 10 o'clock. Good morning.
Sorry, you wouldn't have a table, please?
Oh, sorry. Do you want to sit down?
Irish people can be very polite, but sometimes it pays to be direct. Come direct to Energia for our best rates on electricity and gas with Ireland's cheapest dual fuel bundle, as well as real-time energy insights to help you manage your usage. It means you're getting a better deal. And we're not sorry. Switch today at energia.ie. Energia Smart Data Plan. EAB €2,490. Standing charge, PSO levy, carbon tax and discounted unit rates apply. Full details including associated terms and conditions at energia.ie.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello and a very good morning to you. You're very welcome along to Wednesday's 9 till noon show. It's Wednesday the 20th of March 2024, 6 minutes past 9. How are you all keeping out there in Radio Land? It's good to have you on board. Hopefully you'll stick around for the next 3 hours, and why wouldn't you? Because we're going to keep you informed on everything that's happening across the region, across the country and beyond, and we really value your input into the conversation. If you want to have your say on anything we've lined up for you, or there's issues you wish to raise or comments or stuff you wish to get off your chest, this is how you do it. 086 60 25,000. That's the WhatsApp and text number. 086 60 25,000. You can send your WhatsApp voice notes to that number as well. You can give us a call to an 07491 25,000. If you're calling from outside the Republic, 00353 7491 25,000. And emails, comments at highlandradio.com. Feel free to watch the show if it suits your lifestyle or what you're doing this morning. You can watch us on your smart TV or your Fire Stick by going to YouTube, Highland Radio Ireland, and watch us there. We're on the X platform at Highland Radio and also on Facebook, Highland Hub, Highland News and Sport. No excuse if you want to watch us on the move. Right, okay, lots to get through, so let's start with a look at the newspapers. On the front of the Finn Valley Voice this morning, Rafogue Community Play Group has received the devastating news that their building will be condemned due to defective blocks at the end of June 24. The play group has been in operation since 1982. Manager Fiona McCrabb said thousands of children and their families have availed of our service over the years. In 2009, we were the first group in Donegal to be awarded a Quality Assurance Award. Together with our committee, we fundraised over the years, and in 2000, we're delighted to move into our beautiful new building. But unfortunately, the building that they fought hard for has been tested for defective blocks, and following a meeting on Saturday with the engineer, they were given the devastating news that it is to be condemned. Shocking stuff, and this is the extent of this defective concrete crisis and how far it reaches. What supports are there for that group there and for that building. On to the Irish Independent this morning, and Fine Gael members are concerned about the number of departing TDs as Mayo poll topper Michael Ring last night refused to rule out standing down at the next election. At least 2 other party TDs are also known to be weighing up their options, with health and age significant factors. Meanwhile, Mr Ring admitted he hasn't yet decided whether to run again after Galway East TD Kieran Cannon became the 10th party TD to signal his departure. 10 of them. Contacted by the Irish Independent last night, Mr Ring said, "At the moment, I'm going again, contesting the election, but I haven't made up my mind one way or other, and that's all I'm saying," which sounds like he's wobbling. Fine Gael members yesterday admitted to low morale in the ranks and speculation that more government party members will step down before the next election. Deputies privately conclude that it was a blow that the number of departing colleagues, 10 who won seats in 2020, had now reached double figures. So that's not these. I mean, obviously, some of them are veteran politicians in inverted commas, but a lot of them are what may have been seen as the future of the Fine Gael party. But a lot of them now are choosing not to go again. On to the Irish Times this morning, and a row has broken out between members of the Special Oireachtas Committee on Assisted Dying, with the chairman accused of seeking to undermine its final report on the eve of its publication. So they're ploughing on with this, no doubt. But a lot of this happens. We discussed this on the show a number of times, but really sometimes you don't be fully aware that these plans are progressing as quickly as they are. Two Fine Gael members of the committee said its chairman, independent TD for Kerry, Michael Healy-Rae, was seeking to undermine the credibility of the report after he wrote to TDs and senators saying he would launch a minority report following its publication yesterday. So it's on the way. Look at what's happening in other countries. I think last year was that 13,000 people in Canada applied for assisted dying. Reasons included depression. One person sought to avail of assisted dying because he was evicted from his shelter, his homeless shelter. So obviously, we're being told it's about a certain set of criteria that allow it, but very often the criteria gets expanded. So just so you know, that is a train that is moving forward really with a great pace. Now, do you remember people called me anti-government and cynical? I'm certainly cynical, I'm not anti-government, but do you remember we read about these plans to pump money into 10 areas that had been given the most asylum seekers? I'd love to dig out the tape. And I was reading the article at the time because it was at the time where there was a lot of unrest. So this was released that there'd be money spent on health and education and all this kind of stuff. And I read it at the time and I says, well, how is this implemented? What does this mean? Are they, going to parachute GPs in? Are they going to parachute more staff into the ED? What does this look like? Because to me, it seemed unworkable. It seemed like there was nothing to it. As it transpires, maybe that was the case. The front page of the Irish Daily Mail today, albeit they're asking these questions 2 or 3 months later. A plan by Leo Varadkar to pump extra resources into the 10 districts that have taken in the most asylum seekers is unworkable, Cabinet sources have told the Irish Daily Mail. The Taoiseach announced in January that his department would coordinate a special response package in areas of the country that have taken in the most refugees. This came amid heightening tensions in communities over the influx of immigrants and ugly scenes as protesters descended on the Racket Hall Hotel in Roscrea, County Tipperary, as asylum seekers were moved into the building. So this was right at the peak, I think, of the time of the public face of protest. However, several cabinet sources have told the Mail the proposal will not be implemented. Not going to happen. I don't see how it could work, especially as the situation is fluid. So an area could be outside the top 10 1 month, and let's go in a bit further, and in the top the next, but be excluded, it just wouldn't work, one cabinet source said. Mr Varadkar indicated the additional resources would be in the areas of health, justice and education. However, locations were never chosen, nor was a framework for how they would be selected. So, I mean, you would presume Donegal would have been in line for that because we've taken proportionately, certainly in the top 3, if not one of the top counties. The Fine Gael leader said in January, I think we need to do more to help out communities to increase resources around health, around education, around policing, and to respond to the genuine concerns that people have when there is a large increase in the population. There's been a massive increase in Donegal, but as I say, at the time I thought, how does that work? What does that look like? And as it turns out, even the government itself, through its cabinet ministers, don't see how it can be implemented. Globally, the UN Weather Agency sounding a red alert about global warming, citing record-smashing increases last year in greenhouse gases, land and water temperatures and melting of glaciers and sea ice, and warning that efforts to reverse the trend have been inadequate. This is the Star. The World Meteorological Organization, in a state of the Global Climate Report released yesterday, ratcheted up concerns that a much vaunted climate goal is increasingly in jeopardy, that the world can unite to limit planetary warming to no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius with pre-industrial levels. Do you know what we need to fix this? every world leader and about a delegation of 100 people flying around the world in jets to try and figure out how we on the ground can save the planet. The Sun this morning, RTE star Ray D'Arcy, very popular in Donegal, I'd imagine, has signed a new megabucks deal with RTE, but the freshly transparent state broadcaster won't tell the public how much. The Irish Sun has learned that Ray, 59, penned a new contract in January to present his afternoon show on RTE Radio 1, while RTE would not say if Ray had taken a cut in his €250,000 a year salary. $250,000 a year salary. A spokesperson said that the troubled station was committed to reducing the cost of its highest paid presenters to ensure no contractors or employees will earn more than the Director General. Do you notice in newspapers where they put the writing, the article around someone's head and body and they cut a ton of words and you're trying to read 3-word sentences? It's 2024, folks. Stop putting articles around pictures. It makes it very difficult to read. It's not enjoyable to read either. Well, anyway, that move appears to fly in the face of DG Kevin Backhurst's recent vows of a commitment to transparency. Yesterday, the radio boss who turned Ray into a star has said, in terms of keeping their audience, RTE has made the right move to tie him down. I'd say there was a huge demand for Ray D'Arcy, both nationally and internationally. Ex-Today FM boss Willie O'Reilly told the Irish Sun, Ray has a very good track record. If RTE put someone new and untested in there, they could lose 20% of their audience in just simply 3 months. A mass exodus. I wonder what the figures are like for the Irish stations now that what's his name? I can't remember his name. He used to present the Late Late Show. Ryan Tubridy. Sorry. Ryan Tubridy. What the figures like for his weekend show. Finally, in the Irish Daily Mirror, J.K. Rowling, who is... I don't know if you follow her on Twitter /X, very vocal on transgenderism and has been involved in a very public row with a broadcaster, India Willoughby. And I kind of find myself watching the exchanges, the conversation, just to see how extremes of one side or other interact with each other and the words that are used. And I think J.K. Rowling's going to come out on top in this one anyway. But she insists she will not delete social media posts even though they could breach hate laws. The Harry Potter author misgendered broadcaster India Willoughby during a trans rights row, and she does it routinely. She will not refer to India as a woman. She will only refer to her as a man. Ms. Rowling said on X, India is cosplaying a misogynistic male fantasy of what a woman is. Miss Willoughby, 58, who is transgender, replied, she knows I'm a woman and she calls me a man. India Willoughby generally refers to women as women who are born women as cis women or cisgendered or cis females, and that she is a woman by law, and also that she's not biologically, is biologically a woman as well anyway. A law in Scotland takes effect on April 1st, which makes it an offence to stir up hatred against protected characteristics, including gender identity. But Miss Rowling, 58, insisted, if you genuinely imagine I'd delete my posts calling a man, stand by for the mother of all April Fool's jokes. OK, that's a look at the papers today. 086 60 25,000. If there's anything in there that you wish to opine about, we're happy to get your views, however you wish to share them with us. OK, let us take a quick break, and our first guest will be joining us just after these.
The newspapers are courtesy of Kelly Centra Mountaintop Letterkenny, the C-Store National Large Forecourt of the Year for 2022.
Are you tired of waiting for treatment or surgery? Did you know you can receive immediate treatment across the border under the new NI planned healthcare scheme at potentially no cost? Donegal patients are still being treated with us at Kingsbridge Private Hospital Northwest post-Brexit. The process is easy and our dedicated team will help guide you through it. So why wait? Contact us today to find out how you can skip the waiting lists and receive treatment in Northern Ireland. Visit kingsbridgeprivatehospital.com, because life matters.
There's more furniture than ever on display in the extended showroom at McGinley's Furniture Letterkenny. more sofas and suites, more bedroom and dining room furniture, and much more occasional furniture. If you're adding to your home or making some changes, call into McGinley's Furniture, Portlink Business Park, Port Road, Letterkenny, or visit mcginleysfurniture.com.
This Easter, come rain or sun, put a spring in their steps and seek out somewhere special as a family. From Easter trails for young explorers to a treasure trove of stories at historic places and room to roam in the fresh spring air. You'll find more than one great day out, on your doorstep or further away, with the National Trust this Easter. Search National Trust NI and start planning your family's adventure.
Your smartphone is a wonderful tool, opening amazing ways to connect with friends, family, and even businesses all over Ireland and across the world. Whether it's chatting to your family and friends on WhatsApp, grabbing a bargain by safely online shopping, or even doing all your daily banking needs through an app, your phone or tablet can help you do it all. If you wanted to learn how to use all these features on your device, now you can with High Digital, a free online skills course designed with older people in mind, available in person and online. So if you're ready to unlock your smartphone's potential or know someone who's always wanted to learn more online skills, go to highdigital.ie or call 1800 20 30 30 for more information. Brought to you by Vodafone Foundation and Alone.
Okay, we are joined on the program now by Gemma. Gemma, how are you keeping? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, good stuff. Right, listen, thanks very much for speaking with us. You're the mother of wee Millie Wilson. Tell us what happened whilst you were away.
Yeah, so we came to Benidorm on the 4th of March for our family holiday. It was myself and Ben, my husband, and Millie and Kobe. And yeah, we were having a good week, a good few days.
Mm-hmm.
Then on Friday, the 8th of March, we were getting ready to go to the shops in Benidorm, and Millie actually fell in our hotel room, and it gets tiled floors. But she was okay. You know, she cried and she was fine then. Mm-hmm. And we headed off to the shops, and Millie, she actually fell asleep. She normally sleeps for a couple of hours, so it was normal, but we noticed that she was getting really warm, so we took her out of her pram and she actually got sick. So alarm bells kind of went off, and we were over an hour away from our hotel, so we literally ran back and we took her clothes off to get her into the bath and stuff, try and get her to cool down. And we noticed that there was what we thought was a bruise on her left shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to the hospital in Benidorm, and she got an x-ray, and they were happy with her, but they wanted us to come back on the Saturday morning just to look at it again and to see a paediatric doctor. So on the Saturday morning then we got up and we noticed that the mark on her shoulder was worse, and whenever we pulled back the curtains, her eyes, she started blinking really funny. So that kind of panicked me. I knew I read something before, about a child, especially if they're sensitive to light.
Yes.
So we headed back to the hospital, and they were so quick. The paediatric doctor came, saw Millie, and straight away she sent her for a CT scan, another x-ray on her shoulder, an x-ray on her chest, and then they done bloods. So we were waiting, and they came back to us and said that everything was clear bar the bloods. They said that the components in her blood wasn't good. And then they made the decision that they wanted to transfer me and Millie to the hospital here in Valencia. So me and Millie came here that evening. Ben and Kobe headed back to the hotel in Benidorm to start packing the bags. And so we came here, and the paediatric doctor had got an email from the hospital in Benidorm, and straight away she was hooked up to antibiotics and fluids, and I didn't really know what was going on. I was still kind of convinced that maybe she was concussed or something. So the doctor then spoke to me and said that she was very sick. I didn't really know what she was trying to say, but within an hour she was admitted into ICU. I was told just to wait outside. I was phoning my husband and stuff, didn't know what was happening, but when I went into ICU then I saw that she was hooked up to every machine going. She was on a heart monitor.
That must have been incredibly difficult, Gemma, to see. It takes a while to get over something like that.
It was unbelievable. Do you know, when I went into the ward there, I was met by 2 paediatric doctors and 5 nurses just standing beside her, and I still didn't really know, and I just was saying, like, what's happening. And thank God they had really good English. And the nurse just told me that Millie had sepsis, and they were pretty sure that she had meningitis, but she was very weak. They had to pump plasma transfusions and platelet transfusions into her to try and get her strong enough to do a lumbar puncture. Wow. So I just asked, was she going to be okay? And at that time, they just said that she was critical, and they didn't know. So,
and they
were so good.
Is the fall that you talked of earlier on, is that linked to her getting the bacterial meningitis or sepsis, or is that part of the story because you thought that maybe was what causing her ill health?
No, do you know, as the doctors had said to us, it was nearly like a blessing that Millie fell.
Right.
Because it nearly brought the sepsis to a head on her shoulder.
Aha, I get you.
Know,
It brought it to the surface.
Yep. Yeah, it literally just looked like a bruise. So I rang my husband, and then we decided then to start making phone calls home. Ben's mum and sister then actually flew out to us on the Sunday, I think, that Sunday evening. They kind of took over watching Kobe and stuff for us, and we were just at the hospital, and they were so good. Like, they gave us a room just on the same corridor as ICU.
Wow.
So we were right beside the ward, and yeah. So
how's Millie responding now to the medicine, to the treatment, Gemma?
Unbelievable. Like, the doctors have said, and they keep calling every day that they come in, they just call her a little miracle, because they basically told me and Ben a couple of days ago that they didn't think that she would be here.
Oh, wow.
So they can't believe it. They said that they're amazed at how far that she has come in such a short space of time.
How long is it expected, and please God and all that's holy, that she continues on the right path, Gemma, but have you been given any indication from the hospital as to how long her stay might be there, or what's what is the progression of her treatment and so on?
So normally they have said that for a case like Millie's, it's 21 days on antibiotics before they can talk about us going home. At the minute, though, she's responding so well to it, you know, and they don't want to get our hopes up, like that there is a possibility that she could continue a few days of the treatment orally from home. But because of the sepsis starting in her shoulder, they're focusing on the shoulder at the minute. So there's like a skin specialist and stuff that has come to see it, and I think they're coming back today or tomorrow to look at it just to see if and when the scab starts to come off, if there's any damage done to the skin underneath, and if there's anything else that we're going to have to do to the shoulder.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously,
as me and Ben have said.
Yeah, obviously, look, it's I think lots of us are in the same situation. You know, you gather up the money for the holiday, but you can't necessarily account for, you know, maybe loss of earnings or having to stay there, hotels or what have you. Now, Cora set up a GoFundMe page with a modest goal of €500. Since that was launched, 375 people have donated over €14,000. I think we're always uncomfortable with receiving stuff off other people. So I don't know if that's how you feel, Gemma, but you know what I mean? Because it's kind of like, but at the same time, what the important thing is here, what an expression of support and love from all of those people that have donated over €14,000 so far. It must be nice.
It's honestly like, that's one of the main reasons then that I think the family, when I was talking to them this morning when I said I would come on, because like me and Ben will never, ever be able to thank everybody for the kindness and the generosity. Like, it's honestly, like, it's really overwhelming. It's literally unbelievable. And like, we'll never be able to thank everybody individually. But we are like so grateful for absolutely everything and the support from back home. But we have been in contact with the Meningitis Research Foundation, and we're going to make a donation to them, and we're also going to make a donation to the paediatric ICU unit here before we come home. Brilliant. Because like they've never ever seen anything like the care that Millie has received and the support that they've given us. You know, it's unbelievable. Mm-hmm.
But it also gives you, I think that's lovely as well, and it's a lovely thing to do. But I think the initial generosity gives you and Ben the space to just deal with the emotional journey and the physical journey for Millie and getting her better and getting her home. And I would say you're at the point whereby you'd love to get her home, but you don't want to take any risks either. If it is best that she stays on the drip of antibiotics, well, then so be it. You don't want to rush it, do you?
Exactly. No, exactly. Like, as much as we're missing home and friends, family, and especially Kobe, as long as she's okay and she comes home with us, that's all that we want. Mm-hmm.
And there's loads of ads on at the moment here at home about sepsis and looking out for the signs and all of that. And now look at yous out on your family holiday, and it's sepsis and bacterial meningitis. I'm not exactly sure how she acquired that. Are you? Do you know? Have they been able to tell you? Like, did this something she probably caught off someone else, or is there any indication in relation to that?
We don't actually know now. Like, we did have to fill out a form, and like they're trying to obviously go back themselves just to find out. But they do think that it was from somewhere in Benidorm. Okay. But we don't know.
Right, Gemma, I won't take up much more of your time. I'm really, really pleased that Millie is responding so well to the medicine, and hopefully she continues on that same path. And listen, it's good, isn't it nice? It's nice when we need each other, that we're all there for each other. And that's a really positive thing as well. And as you said already, it's helping you and Ben through this situation, and hopefully you have Millie home soon.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you again, honestly. Thank you doesn't seem like much at the minute, but we really, really do appreciate absolutely everything.
Great stuff. I'll let you go. Thanks so much, Gemma. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right, take care of yourself. That is Gemma there, mother of Millie Wilson, and thankfully Millie is responding well to the treatment. And any surplus money, as you heard from Gemma, will allow them to make a donation to the local paediatric ward, which the care has been absolutely amazing. And Meningitis Ireland, I think she mentioned. So, as I say, you can never tell with things like that. The doctors will have to keep a good close eye on her. But hopefully all the positive signs are there. Isn't that a mixture of a story? I think any parent, you can imagine going into the... I remember, but I'm a weakling. But I remember Lee was had to get grommets in years and years and years ago, but they had to knock him out for it. And I know this sounds ridiculous, really, when you hear what they're going through, but it was tough to see it, you know. So I can only imagine what Gemma and the family were feeling, seeing Millie wired up to everything in the hospital, it would seem. But it's all working seemingly well. Things are going in the right direction. I've come across this one myself before. We had a question in from a listener, or a comment in from a listener. Hi, Greg. I was wondering whether your listeners would know if a school has the authority to restrict a child from going to the bathroom. My child is in second year of secondary school and is in the process of getting additional support, which had been in place in primary school even without an official diagnosis. This support hadn't been brought into place by the secondary school and some problems had arisen due to this. We've applied for movement breaks as these have helped in the past. My child has a few health issues and feels unwell a lot of the time. We have results pending from the doctor. They felt unwell at school and asked to go to the bathroom, and the teacher told them there is a note in place in their file not to let child out of class to the bathroom. They take the scenic route to and from. This resulted in me having to collect them earlier and take them to the local chapel so they could use the toilet there before they went home. Is it legal to deny a child their basic human rights of using facilities? That's the question we put out there. Listen, I know of cases, let me just say that, of pretty recent cases where a child was not allowed to go to the toilet for 40 minutes. And this is a child that had no additional needs, let me put it like that. But there's a note on the child's file where this came from, I don't know, that not to let the child out of class to the bathroom because they take the scenic route to and from. But the question is from the listener, is it legal to deny a child their basic human right of using facilities? We put that up on our social media, so we have a few responses in already, but we're throwing that out to Radioland, and hopefully you'll have your say there too as well.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
House to Home Bridgend, Donegal. Our modest front door opens onto 2 floors of Irish-made furniture, suites, beds, mattresses, dining and occasional furniture. Step into our showroom and see how we can transform your house into a home. House to Home furniture, flooring, slide ropes and interiors, Bridgend, Donegal.
Despite low temperatures and high energy costs, it's important everyone stays warm and well through the colder months. It's also important to understand that saving energy where possible saves money and helps reduce the impact on our climate. Simple steps can make a big difference, like turning down the thermostat by 1 degree, limiting the use of high-energy appliances like tumble dryers, or ensuring we don't heat rooms that aren't in use. Government is playing its part too, making a range of supports available to help ease the burden on families across the country. For support and advice, visit gov.ie/reduce your use. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Foy & Company's Ballybuffet and Letterkenny Spring Sale is now on in Ballybuffet and Letterkenny. Huge reductions on Scatterbox cushions and Scatterbox wall art. Also great savings on rugs and selected furniture in both stores and online at foys.ie. Call in store before Foy Spring Sale ends in Ballybuffet and Letterkenny.
Live electricity wires are always near, and coming close to them can be dangerous. So always ask yourself, are you sure it's safe? Look out for electricity wires above and below you. If in doubt, call us on 1800 372 999. It might just save your life. ESB Networks. Stay safe and stay clear of electricity wires.
Okie doke, we are talking now to Poblaskol Gweedor's robotics team. We have a number of the students in and teacher Keith O'Farry. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us, Keith. I'll say good morning to you first.
Good morning. Thanks for having us here.
Right, now we've got some unit here in front of me. I've done interviews about robotics before. This is quite the yoke. Talk to us, and I'll speak to the students about its development in a moment, but talk to us a little bit about sort of how you got involved in this competition and started to develop and design a robot.
Well, about 6 years ago, John Conahan and Gary Cullen, lecturers at the ATU, set up a programme to encourage primary and secondary schools to participate in MEX robotics competition. So teachers from the schools in Donegal were invited to a training day in the college, and every school that participated got a free basic robot package. So from there, I set up a robotics club at school, mostly focused on transition year students, and where there was plenty of interest in the robotics. And during this class, the students learned then how to design, build and program the robots, how to work in teams, problem solve and document their work. And from there, with Vex Robotics, they have a world tournament every year and we participate. So last year was the first Northwest tournament and we were fortunate enough to win last year's tournament, and we travelled to Cork then for the All-Ireland tournament and we did quite well there last year. We got us through to the quarterfinals, and after that then...
Was it the Donegal team won it last year?
There was a primary school.
Right, okay.
So it's split.
That's right, okay. It's in a different category, right? I had the primary school in, whose name will come to me in a moment, but anyway, go ahead.
Stromore.
Stromore,
okay. Stromore National School that got through last year for the primary section. But the secondary section, we, as I said, we got through to the quarterfinals last year, and that gave the students, we have 2 from last year on the same team this year, and that gave them the encouragement to basically start last summer. And once the new game was released, they started working, and they have, in all fairness to them, have a lot of hours put in designing and building this robot.
Okay. Yanto, were you involved in this last year?
Yeah, so last year was my first year doing Vex Robotics. Me and Molly Sharkey, who are on the team now, were the senior members. We took the team last year as captains, and we had a great experience.
So what's the name of this yoke we have in front of us here?
So the robot's called Coo, and it's basically Irish for a small dog who runs around and chases after a ball.
And what does it have to, or what did it have to perform in the last competition you were in? Because it has set, everyone has to set challenge, don't they?
Yeah. So this year it's called a game called Over Under, and there's a game objective. It's called a try ball, and the aim of that is to score as many of them as possible. So it's like a game of football. There are 2 teams made up of 2 robots.
So what do you need the robot really to be able to do? What skill was the most difficult skill sort of to be able to program it to do, or to be able to physically do as part of this game?
We done our best to make it as fast and as lightweight as possible, because it's a very strategy based game. So we spent a lot of time, doing trial and errors, to see what would work and what wouldn't work. We had problems with our programming, but we got around that together,
Molly, you were on last year's project as well. How different is this year's robot to last?
Oh, I think it's a lot more competitive this year. We've put in a lot of research, since the game was first announced. Myself and Yanto, we've been watching all the games that have come out from it and noticing what people are doing and noticing what we could do better. So I'd say it's just a lot more competitive this year, and I think we're a lot better than we were last year. So
brilliant stuff. Now this year, through your achievements, you have been invited, or you can represent Ireland at the Vex Robotics World Championships in Dallas, Texas, USA, next month.
Yeah, it's insane. We're so excited for it.
Okay. And would all of you go, the team of 4?
7 of us is on the team.
7, all right, yeah. Fantastic stuff. Kerry, what's your role in all of this?
My role is that whenever mid-game, Anya and I are 2 match loaders. It's the game objective is the tri-balls. We load the tri-balls onto our catapult kicker, and it flings the tri-balls over in the match mid-game, so we have to load 22 of the tri-balls onto it.
So you're running around like Aegis, really.
Well, we're not moving, we're just kind of the robot's the one moving. We're the ones putting the tri-balls onto the catapult there.
What about you, Kerry? What's your role? Well, is it Anya? Beg your pardon.
Well,
I've only just met you, so I'm struggling.
It's both me and Kerry that both load the robot, and me, Kerry and Molly, we go around, and Maureen as well, one of the other girls, we go around and we ask our alliances, we go around to their tables and we find out what their robot can and can't do.
So that's where the strategy comes to it. Okay, so it's more complex than just the robot itself. And Anya, have you been surprised, I'm sorry, had you any interest in sort of mechanics, robotics before? Is this just something that you thought, all right, I might get interested in that? And I'm just wondering, how your interest has grown over this whole process.
Well, Kerry and Murren were already on the team, and I would be good friends with them, and we were doing Young Scientist, and it was Keith that helped a lot with the project as well, so he offered to let me join the team, so I decided to go for it, and it was a
Haven't
good
looked
decision.
back since, yeah. And what about you, Yanto? Is this an interest that you always had, or something that's developed through over the last couple of years?
Yeah, since about second year, Keith has been teaching me robotics, through other competitions like Tech Fela, involving programming, 3D printing, and all sorts.
And where is your expertise in terms of the sort of the development? Is it in programming, or do you have to sort of be a jack of all trades?
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So I would mentor the new team members in programming, in building, because what good is programming with a poor build? So there's a lot going on.
Because there's reliability in everything. You don't want to head out there head to any competition and it fail early on. You have to have a machine that's reliable as well as clever. Keith, in terms of heading out to taking the team out to Dallas, Texas, USA, from the 25th to the 27th of April, obviously it's an expensive old trip. Are you looking for sponsorship or donations, or maybe you're already sorted in that regard?
Yeah, we started a fundraising campaign where we have set up a GoFundMe page, which we have linked to our school website, www.psgd.ie, and our school's Facebook page, Public School Gidor. And I have to say, everyone has been so generous and so kind, and I'd like to take the opportunity to thank everyone that has contributed so far. The support that we have received from different companies and businesses has been absolutely fantastic.
But they're investing in the future as well, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? It's competitive now in the hiring area, in a lot of areas that sort of this sort of fits into. So it's in companies' interest, I suppose, to invest in the future, isn't it?
Yeah, the way robotics and technologies is advancing is immense, and it's happening very quickly, and it's important that we encourage these students to take part in robotics and to be creative and to come up with their own designs and I suppose, innovative.
I suppose, Molly, too, what we don't know really in next year's competition, the year after, or even in this year's competition, what role AI might have in all of this as well.
Oh yeah, it's interesting to see. Actually, if you look at other teams, they have these wee vision sensors, which has a wee bit of the AI in it. So I think so.
Yeah, I'll stuff that.
We'll only say that if we're going against them. If we're with them, it's fine.
Exactly. If we're using them, happy days.
Exactly. No, I think we searched to find it for ourselves, but no, we couldn't find it.
But it just points to how, even just to stand still, you have to keep innovating in competitions like this.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, we've all had our own wee troubles getting everything done and new ideas sorted and everything.
All right, Kerry, you've enjoyed the whole process. You're enjoying it as well, of course.
I love it. It's been really interesting to see everything come together and work together.
And do you find this is sort of like, an interesting distraction from school, albeit you're learning at the same time? Or do you see it, Kerry, as maybe, making you think about different career paths or going in different directions? Or
well, I think it does help you think there's other options in the career path. There's doors always to be opened with this. I think it's really good to start in school and you can see what you find interesting and what you don't find interesting, and really help you find
exactly, because it can be hard, and we ask 16, 15 year olds to make such big decisions about what they might want to do with their lives. Crazy really when you think about it. Anya, what's the sort of makeup of the students down there? Is there a gender balance? Is it more boys than girls, or what's at the competitions you've been at so far?
Well, our team, we have 4 girls and 3 boys on the team, and when we were in Cork, there was a good mix of girls and boys as well.
Yeah, because there are deficits, particularly from women in some of the areas that this touches into, Keith, isn't there?
Yeah, it's important. It's important to try and encourage them and to show that it's just not all male dominated, and that they can contribute as much as any other person.
Brilliant stuff. All right, anything else you want to add, Keith?
We also, just to thank everybody that has been encouraging us so far, have been giving us the donations and everything. We're going to also set up a draw live on our webpage where you can go in and buy tickets that to won prizes that companies have generously donated for the cause. So really looking forward to taking this group of students to Dallas, and where the school and myself are very proud of the work and what they have achieved to date.
Of course, yes,
and we're just delighted to be able to get the funds to take them that extra step to the World Championship.
Fantastic. Is Karen Sharkey any of your mums?
Yeah, that's my mum there.
She's very proud of you.
Oh.
She's watching on. I better move this so she can get a look at you. 1 second. Where is it? 1 second. Here you are. Look, there she is. So she's watching Molly.
Yeah.
Molly. I was calling you Molly.
Oh no, it is Molly. It's just spelled the Irish way.
Oh, Mollai. That's nice. Actually, very good. Okay. Right, so we've said hello to Karen. Does anyone else want to say hello to anyone that might be watching or listening? No? That's good. Yanto, come on, don't be too cool for school. Say hello to everyone.
No, just hello to everyone at home and school and all the friends and stuff like that.
I'm only messing. Listen, Keith, thanks so much for calling in. Best of luck. Hopefully we get great news. We'll touch base with you hopefully when you're over there. I think we were able to do that last year with Tremor School, so we'll figure it out. It is for the VEX Robotics World Championship in Dallas, Texas from the 25th to the 27th of April 2024. And I think anyone, it's great to go over and take part, but if you're interested in this stuff, it's going to be amazing to see what other people are doing and achieving and what have you. So it's a wonderful experience. Yanto Carruthers, thank you so much for calling in. Kerry Manger.
Thank you.
That's correct pronunciation, is it, Kerry?
Magner, yeah.
Say it again.
Magner.
But have a look at that. This is what I was given. Take a look at that. People think I get names wrong, right? Okay, so you can see that that's spelled completely wrong.
No, it's right.
Well, that's what I said. There's a G and N the wrong way round.
Yeah,
don't get a pen out and start correcting the homework. Are you looking on to be a teacher?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Molly Niharkin?
Niharki, yeah.
Niharki, I said. And Anya Niferry.
Yeah.
And there's like an Anya works here, and I know lots of Anyas, and of all the names, it was AN-YA that they put out for me. They've no faith in me at all, folks. All right, thanks so much for calling over. It's fantastic. The yoke, or whatever you might call it, looks brilliant, and we can't wait to track how he's get on over in Dallas, Texas, USA. All right, thank you so much indeed, and thanks Keith for coming over. Really appreciate it. And just let us know the GoFundMe in case anyone wants to hop on board.
Yeah, we have it on the Poblaskal Gidor Facebook page. So if you check Robotics Poblaskal Gidor, you'll be able to find the GoFundMe page.
Excellent. Okay, thank you all.
Perfect.
We'll be back with more after the break.
Are you struggling with ill-fitting dentures? Are you tired of avoiding the steak menu and going straight to the softer options? Blue Poppy's special implant-assisted dentures can help restore your full bite sensation. Call today for a free consultation with Doctors Ihor and Ahmed, Blue Poppy's new implant team, and explore our attractive payment plans. Find contact details for our Letterkenny and Donegal town practices at bluepoppydental.com.
Spring into savings at House Proud Furnishings with big brands at small prices. This is a sale you don't want to miss. Like sofas from our Elevate range starting from $399. Buy now, pay later. Finance available. Visit our flagship store at Abercorn Square, Strabane and House Proud Omagh, or shop online at houseproudfurnishings.com.
Fancy a free glass of Prosecco while admiring one of Donegal's best views? Join us on our first wedding fair at the Water's Edge Rathmullen on Saturday the 23rd of March from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. We will be joining forces with Ultimate Touches and other vendors to showcase the Water's Edge Rathmullen as your dream wedding reception. With free entry and great prizes to be won, it's a day out not to be missed.
Kia is now making it easier to go green, offering 0% finance on the all-new Kia Niro. With an impressive 460-kilometre range on a single charge, the Niro ensures you can go the distance without compromise. Visit imotors.ie today and avail of this limited offer.
Experience Experience total relaxation in the Spa at Orchids at the Holyrood Hotel, Bundoran. Recently awarded Best Hotel Spa Getaway at the RSVP Spa Awards. Enjoy luxury spa baths, revitalizing facials, rejuvenating massages, pampering body treatments, outdoor hot tub and tranquil Japanese garden. Visit on a luxury spa day, pop in for some me time or buy the perfect present with a gift voucher. Relax and let the Spa at Orchids transport you to another world. See holyroodhotel.com.
Highland Radio weather updates with Ireland West Airport. You don't visit Liverpool for the weather, but it does rain goals at Anfield. Fly to Liverpool daily with Ryanair. Ireland West Airport. Don't just take off, take it easy.
Oh, right. Let's have a look at the weather forecast. And I clicked into the wrong day. Today, largely dry with sunny spells developing later in this morning, although cloud will increase again this evening. Highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees with light to moderate northerly wind. It is going to get a bit chilly again, but hopefully by the end of March, heading into April. Don't want to wish one's life away, but wouldn't it be nice to see some nice weather? We are reading a couple of comments in relation to the parent or guardian whose child was not allowed to go to the toilet. There was a note on their file because apparently they take the scenic route to and from the toilet, but there could be awaiting a diagnosis. I don't know how they phrase it. They say other issues. The bathrooms are a huge problem in schools. They're used as smoking, vaping rooms in the break times and so much bullying going on in there that kids are afraid to go. It leaves them with no alternative but to go during class or not go at all. This would have been me here. I would have avoided the crowds at break time, to be honest with you. I know the schools do their best, but no one should ever be denied a bathroom when needed. If they would supervise the bathrooms during breaks, half the kids wouldn't need to go in class, and all this rubbish of needing a note to go could be stopped. Common sense comment there from me, or for in my opinion. I personally would be telling my child to ask to use the toilet out of respect, and if this basic human right is denied, to go anyway, and tell the teacher to call the parents if there is an issue, especially for young girls dealing with periods, etc. It can be challenging enough without having teachers dictate when the bathroom can and can't be used. No one has the ability to time when they need to use the bathroom, so waiting until break time isn't always feasible. Yeah, again, that's a very practical comment. A caller says, absolutely not. It's a human right, not a privilege to use a toilet. I had this out with the Department of Education over 15 years ago, and I won my case. A teacher denied my son the right to go to the toilet, and I brought the department up on abuse of human rights. Needless to say, he was never denied the right again. It goes for any human. Even prisoners cannot be denied the right to use the toilet. Whether there is an additional needs or not, no one should be refused using the bathroom. I'd be telling my child to get up and walk out. The school would soon change their tune once they deal with me after. Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. It's the parent, by the way, that brought in the issue of additional needs there, but I understand where you're coming from. Greg, there is no such thing as a trans woman. You're either a man or a woman, regardless of what you want to be or how you dress. Stop pandering to a minority. I'm not pandering to a minority. I read an article in the newspaper, for crying out loud. That's how they refer to themselves. You know, what do you do there? Right, I don't have any time for more comments, but keep them coming into us because we will have time in the next hour. It's time for us now to take a break on the 9 till noon show. We're going to bring you the very latest local and national news and the obituary notices. So stay with us and we'll be back just after those, or them. Is it those or them? Anyway, we'll be back after them.
Did you know Tinny's Toys stock top toy brands like the Care Bears, VTech, Leapfrog, Lamaze, Playmobil, Tonka and much more. We also have a massive range of outdoor toys like swings, slides, swing ball, goalposts and rebounders. And don't forget, we're still Ireland's largest farm toy superstore. Open Monday to Saturday, Leck Road, Letterkenny, or online at tinnystoys.com.
Skoda cars are made for exploring Ireland. But let's add more style, more sexiness, more French. Skoda Fabia, Scala and Kamiq models are available in the Monte Carlo range. Black exterior details, excusez-moi, sports seats and bumpers, enchanté, and carbon decor, so chic. Order your new 2024 Skoda with more je ne sais quoi at skoda.ie. Skoda, let's explore.
Your local Skoda dealer is DMG Motors, Clar Road, Donegal Town. Telephone 074 97 21396 or visit dmgmotors.ie.
From family feasts to cosy date nights and everything in between, discover the Curry Cottage Indian restaurant and takeaway in Stranorlar. Indulge in award-winning, top-quality food, whether you dine in or order online for takeaway convenience at thecurrycottage.ie. With our doors open 7 days a week with tasty food and a warm welcome. Taste the excellence at the Curry Cottage today.
Join me, Marty Friel, this and every Friday night from 8 for Rockin' Hits on Highland Radio in association with Arena 7 Letterkenny. If you're celebrating a birthday or a work night out, Arena 7 Entertainment Complex has it all. Check out arena7.ie.
The life of a Charlie's Chip is never dull. Once they're selected, they're off to Charlie's, where they lose that jacket, have a nice wash, and get into shape. Before going out, there's always a few nerves, totally unnecessary, because, let's face it, they always go down well. Enjoy Charlie's Chips to sit in or take away daily from 12 to 8 at Pierce Road, Letterkenny. When the hunger hits, pull into Charlie's.
At CS Architectural Salvage, you'll find reclaimed white plank floorboards, polished beams, pine and oak beams sawn to customers' requirements, and waxed finish, Belfast street lamps, and garden furniture. CS Architectural Salvage, Campsie Industrial Estate, Eglinton. Call 04871 812 999.
Live, on air, online, and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the news desk. A major report on proposed assisted dying laws will be published later today. Divisions have emerged in the committee which is overseeing it. With more, here's Stephanie Rowan.
The Oireachtas Assisted Dying Committee has been examining whether to introduce voluntary assisted dying laws here, which has been described as complex and extremely sensitive. The report recommends allowing for assisted dying in very strict circumstances, including that the person has a terminal illness with only months to live and their pain is to a level that they can't tolerate. The report will be presented this afternoon, but it's understood committee chair Michael Healy-Rae is actually dissenting against it and will hold a press briefing with Senator Ronan Mullen afterwards. This has caused division among the committee, who feels the report's being undermined. In any case, it's unlikely any legislation will be introduced in the lifetime of the current government.
A Lifford Stranorlar councillor says there must be more focus on the need for improvements to the Corkum Bends on the N15 between Stranorlar and Killygordon. The 1.5 kilometre stretch to the east of Stranorlar has been identified as substandard and in need of realignment. A public consultation ended in December, with Donegal County Council hoping to move to preliminary design phase within the next few weeks. However, Councillor Patrick McGowan's been told at the current rate of progress it'll be the second half of 2027 before the Council and Transport Infrastructure Ireland are ready to appoint a contractor and commence construction. He says that's much, much too late.
This is very dangerous. Even though it's a national primary road, the M15 from Stranorlar to Killygordon, it's quite narrow and very, very twisty, and it's quite hard for even two lorries to pass at that location. So it's totally unacceptable it's going to take this long. It's been undesigned for at least 2 or 3 years, and I'd hope that maybe even next year that they'll be able to go to construction. But to hear now it's going to be 2027, it's totally unacceptable.
The family of a young girl from Redcastle who became very ill while on holiday in Benidorm say they're blown away by the support they've received from the public. Millie Wilson, who turns 2 next month, was hospitalised after becoming very ill. She was subsequently diagnosed with bacterial meningitis and sepsis. To help the family cover medical costs, a friend has organised a fundraiser on GoFundMe, which has now raised over €14,000 to support the family, who are still in Spain. On today's 9 till noon show, Greg Hughes spoke to Millie's mother, Gemma.
It's really overwhelming. It's really unbelievable. And we'll never be able to thank everybody individually. But we are so grateful for absolutely everything and the support from back home. We have been in contact with the Meningitis Research Foundation, and we're going to make a donation to them, and we're also going to make a donation to the paediatric ICU unit here before we come home.
There are claims that EU militarisation will have serious implications for Ireland. A Dáil protest will take place today against any move toward a European army. It's after the EU set out proposals for European defence industrial strategy. Independent Donegal Deputy Thomas Pringle believes there has been an intensification in efforts to militarise the EU.
Something that I think that everybody in Ireland should be very concerned about, because we're rapidly seeing, I think it's intensifying over the last while with the attack on Israel, and that we're rapidly seeing the wish to and move towards a militarised Europe, where Germany and France are pushing for European defence forces, and that's going to be very serious.
A redress scheme for survivors of mother and baby homes opens for applications today. The Mother and Baby Institution's payment scheme will provide financial and health supports to those who spent at least 6 months in a home. The limit to those who can apply for the supports has been criticised by campaigners who were calling for the scheme to be expanded. They're asking for supports to be made available to all survivors that spent time in a home or were abused in a boarding out or adoptive placement. And a man is due in court after cocaine with an estimated street value of £200,000 was seized in South Tyrone. Yesterday afternoon, officers from the PSNI's organised crime branch stopped a vehicle travelling on the Omer Road in Dungannon. A search of the vehicle uncovered the suspected cocaine and cash worth around €50,000 in both euro and sterling denominations. A 41-year-old man arrested at the scene has been charged and will appear in court in Omagh later today. Weather forecast largely dry with sunny spells developing later this morning. Cloud increasing again this evening. Top temperatures today 9 to 11 degrees Celsius with a light to moderate northerly wind. Tonight cloudy with outbreaks of rain and drizzle developing. Lowest overnight temperatures 2 to 5 degrees Celsius with light and variable winds becoming southwesterly and increasing moderate to fresh, occasionally strong toward the west coast. Tomorrow it'll be breezy and mostly dull. Outbreaks of rain or drizzle in the morning and afternoon. It will become drier though during the evening. Top temperatures on Thursday 10 to 12 with a moderate to fresh southwesterly wind, occasionally strong near the coast. And that's Highland Radio News. We're back with news headlines again at 11 o'clock. Check all of today's news on our website, highlandradio.com. But for now, from the news team, good morning. The obituary notices for this Wednesday morning, the 20th of March. The death has taken place in Blackburn of Michael Quinn, formerly of Faheens, Swinford, County Mayo. His remains will arrive at Belfast Port tomorrow at approximately 1:45, travelling on to Comiskey funeral premises Clonmany, reposing there from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. Funeral from there on Friday morning at 20 to 11, going to St Mary's Church Clonmany for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock, with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. The funeral mass can be viewed live on churchservices.tv. The death has taken place of Anthony Dunworth, Clooney Rimelton, reposing at his home from 2 o'clock this afternoon. Funeral mass on Friday morning at 11 in St Mary's Church, Rimelton. Burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. The funeral mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. Family flowers only, please. Donations, if desired, to the Oncology Ward, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member or Patrick Sweeney, funeral directors. The death has occurred of Trevor Melly, Lettermecca Ward. His remains will repose at his father and mother's home at Glengesh Ardra from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. today. Removal from there tomorrow morning at 11, going to his late residence in Lettermecca Ward, where he'll repose from 12 noon until 11 p.m. Funeral Mass in St Bridget's Church, Lettermecca Ward on Friday at 12 noon, with interment afterwards in the new cemetery. Family time, please, on the morning of the funeral. Family flowers only, please. Donations, if desired, to Pieta House, care of Derek McCabe, funeral directors. The death has taken place of Pierce Macaulay, formerly of Fountain Street, Strabane, reposing at his sister Siobhan Doherty's home at 16 Brookvale, Strabane. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 9:15 for Requiem Mass in the Church of the Immaculate Conception, Strabane at 10 o'clock. Interment afterwards in Strabane Cemetery. Family time, please, from 11 o'clock tonight. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam. The death has taken place of John Fisher, Umla, Carrigart. His remains are reposing at his late residence, Umla House, Carrigart, from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. today. Funeral service at his home tomorrow afternoon at 2, followed by removal to Carrigart Presbyterian Church for service followed by interment in the family burial ground. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member. The death has occurred of Bridget Boyce, née Murray, The Pans, Cranford. Her remains are reposing at her late residence. Funeral at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning in the Church of the Immaculate Conception, Cool, with interment afterwards in Milford Cemetery. At Bridget's request, the house is private, please. No flowers. Donations in lieu, if desired, to the Donegal Hospice. The death has occurred of Sally Kelly, Liz Mulliduff, Crossroads, Killygordon, reposing at the family home. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10:20 for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock in St Patrick's Church, Crossroads, Killygordon, with interment afterwards in the adjoining churchyard. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to St Joseph's Hospital, Stranraer, care of any family member. The death has occurred of Terry Smith, 39, Retreat Park, Athlone, Westmeath, formerly of Bridgend, Donegal. Terry will repose at his residence in Athlone this evening from 5 until 9. Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Athlone, tomorrow morning at 10:30, followed by cremation in Lakelands Crematorium, Cavan, at 3 o'clock. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Irish Cancer Society. The death has taken place of John O'Neill, Boya, Port Hall, Donegal, formerly of Camus Road, Strabane. Funeral from his late residence this morning at 10:30, going to St Bathan's Church, St Johnson, for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass, with burial afterwards in Derry City Cemetery. House private, please, before the funeral. And the death has taken place of Niall Carberry, Pound Street, Rathmullen, formerly of Meenadone, Fintown. Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock this morning in St Joseph's Church, Rathmullen, with burial afterwards in the local cemetery. Family time, please, before the funeral. The funeral mass will be streamed on mcn.live. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
And now, IMRO's 2023 Best Local Original News Programme, The Voice of the Northwest, the 9 till noon show, with Greg Hughes.
And you are very welcome back to the programme. Thank you very much for joining us or sticking with us, whichever applies to you. It's good to have you on board. Right, some comments before we head on with the next item on the show. Came down Lurgy Brack into the left lane for Letterkenny. I had to turn right for Bonagee. Car behind me down Lurgy Brack was in the right-hand lane. They turned for Letterkenny as well. As soon as I came on 2 lanes of traffic, I need to turn right straight away because I'm a lorry. Next thing, horn goes on the car. Am I wrong? I would have thought the right lane is for going into Bonagee, to be honest with you. Left lane is for only Letterkenny. Right lane, not for Letterkenny at all. I would have thought the right lane is for heading out towards the NTC place or out towards Derry. You're a lorry driver, a professional driver, but left lane for me is Letterkenny only. Right lane, because the turn-off is after 12 o'clock. Right lane for going into Bonagee, if I know the area correctly, or heading out the Derry Road. So I'm not going to say you were wrong, but there are also people that use the right lane to turn left to Letterkenny, which you shouldn't do either. That right lane is not for turning left into Letterkenny, because there's people have to turn right quite soon as they get onto the 4 lanes. So if I were driving a lorry, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'd be in the right lane going to Bonagee. Now, if you're not from Letterkenny, I don't know where we're talking about. My apologies. Neutrality beliefs listeners should be respected and held onto, even if it means having to leave the European Union. Okay. Hi there. Back to the roads. Just a query on the Polestar roundabout. I drive it every day, but I've noticed the last couple of weeks people coming past the Mount Ergel Hotel using the right lane to go out the Derry Road. No, that they can't do that. That's not what that lane is for. To go out the Derry Road and skipping past the traffic, they sometimes kind of get away with it if the light on the roundabout is green. Also, same thing coming from the Clanree using the middle lane to go out the Ramalton Road and cutting people off You usually know these drivers as they're weaving in traffic. My question is, are there cameras on the roundabout that can be used to catch these drivers and find them, as there will be accidents from this? I'm not really quite sure. And I'm not sure what kind of an offence using the wrong lane is. But the left lane is for going out to Derry. The middle lane is for, I don't know the names of the roads, heading out by the council offices. The right lane would be for going in past ATU. The right lane only is for going out the Ramelton Road coming from the Clanry roundabout. So those people are using the roundabout wrong. But if you have never used that roundabout, I'm sure, I think there might be reasonable to be confused a little. There used to be a sand quarry on Muckish. There are remains from it still up there. Okay, Lee Gooch, actually, this is off the back of a comment Lee Gooch made earlier. Him and Lee, his son Lee, have climbed Mount Errigal. They're looking for the next challenge, and Muckish was mentioned, and Lee said that he thinks there's a tractor or a digger on the top of Muckish. And he wasn't sure if that's true or not. Someone out there knows, I know that. But a sand quarry on Muckish, I'm not sure how far up that might be, but there are remains from it still up there. On to school toilets and the use of school toilets. Some schools are having huge problems with students vaping in the toilets and loitering in the toilets and break times. I've read that one. Okay, they've read that one. Okay, it's quite a long one, so no point going through it again. And I've got that one for a third time. Someone really likes that comment. Rightio, you are tuned to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. Loads coming up in the show over the next hour and 45 minutes, so please stay with us. We're going to take a quick break, though, for the bingo numbers.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Wednesday, the 20th of March. You're playing on the blue sheet. The reference number is S18. It's game number 12. The numbers are 13, 71, 17, 59, 19, 31, 50, 25, 84, and finally 68. Phone your claim to 910-4833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Hi, Paddy here at Shane Conley Cars in Donegal Town. Are you looking to upgrade your car? With Shane Conley Cars, you'll find makes and models for every budget. Great finance options, and we also accept trade-ins. Check out ShaneConleyCars.com or call in to us at Shane Conley Cars from Lonaher Road, Donegal Town.
Donegal County Council has published the draft residential zoned land tax annual map for 2025 in line with national requirements. Any interested individuals or parties may make submissions in respect of land on the draft map. The first deadline for making submissions is Monday, 1st of April 2024. For further details and to view the map, please visit consult.donegal.ie. The map can also be viewed at the Council's area offices.
For all homeowners, Highland Radio is now offering the chance to transform your space with a €10,000 home makeover draw, plus an extra €5,000 in cash. Brought to you in association with Foy & Company. Imagine the possibilities. What could you do to your home with €10,000? Get your tickets now at highlandradio.com for a chance to make your dream home a reality. Enter today. Visit highlandradio.com.
Petrol stations will soon have to display price comparisons with electric vehicles. The new regulations have been introduced by the Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland. Forecourt owners must display the price on a poster or screen to travel 100 kilometres in a petrol, diesel or electric vehicle. I wouldn't like to figure out how the hell you might go about doing this. Let's see if Shane O'Donoghue, a motoring journalist and editor of Complete Car and World Car Award juror, has to say. Good morning to you, Shane. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Greg.
Right, so I can see the logic. But are we talking all electric? Are we talking hybrids? Are we talking Nissan's new type of hybrid? Do we know what this looks like in reality yet?
Yeah, it's the poster is very simple, which is a great idea to try and make it easy for people to understand it. And in theory, it's a great idea to try and draw attention to the fact that electric cars are way cheaper to run. But as you alluded to at the top, there's so much variability, even in electric cars, and even in a single brand's electric cars. It depends how the person drives, everything. But even averaging that out is impossible to do. And even if everybody just drove the same electric car, if there's one electric car only and everybody drove the same way, then electricity rates are changing all the time. And it depends on where you're charging. Everybody has a different kilowatt hour rate at home, and each charging station you go to, depending who's operating it, the rate varies as well. So I think it's actually misleading, and it's going to do the opposite to what SEAI are intending.
Yeah, and let's just say electricity prices happen to go up again, and petrol and diesel prices begin to come down. Will they be so keen to see these signs up if it doesn't seem as attractive to drive electric?
I don't think we'll see dramatic enough changes in both liquid fuel and electricity prices for that to happen, because the difference is so big. But as you suggest, it does change, the SEAI are talking about changing the figures, I think, once a quarter, which is just ludicrous. When there's a reason we have fuel stations with digital signs that can be changed daily. It's because fuel rates, prices, everything change that quickly. And to have a poster, an information poster that changes quarterly, which is supposed to give people information, I just think it's a waste of time. And I actually feel for the owners of the petrol stations that are basically being forced into doing this too, at their cost.
Also, too, I'm not sure the approach of getting people to transition to sort of try and make out it's about money is really, fair, because there's an awful lot of other costs. Theoretically, the outlay often for an electric car versus a petrol car can be more expensive. That's kind of not factored in. The infrastructure at the house, potentially, that's not factored in. I think really if they want people to genuinely transition, it needs to be for more reasons than just money. I think this smacks to me of a little bit of desperation, if you know what I mean. Because look at electric bikes, right? No one is having to flog them. The benefits of them, but people are buying electric bikes left, right, and centre. Anyway, I'm mixing up 2 points there, but again, I just don't think to sort of trying to convince people it's about the money side of it. That to me smacks a little bit of desperation at this point.
I'm not so sure. I think I don't know how else we convince people, or how else I should say the government convince people that we should be moving to more electric cars. People choose.
Well, you put in a proper infrastructure, though, Shane. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I've covered so many announcements of 20 billion, 20 million, 30 million invested in this, that, and the other. And next thing you know, there's going to be a super fast charger in every corner and every highway. We have the exact same, pretty much, infrastructure here in Donegal as we had going back 4 or 5 announcements. Half of them don't work. There's petrol cars in the parking spaces. You know what I mean? I think those are the barriers. That's why people are giving up electric cars. Because if you've ever driven an electric car, they're fantastic. You've got instant power. If you sort of manage the charging and everything else, they're fantastic and fun to drive. But a recent survey showed people are giving them up because of range anxiety and nowhere to charge them. That's probably a better point I was trying to make, or make it a better way, Shane.
No, absolutely. That's a really good point. You'd like to be seeing the SEAI, spending their time on helping get the rollout of chargers and the infrastructure. 100% agree with you on that. And that should be a far bigger focus on that. Putting a few posters up in garages, even if they're 100% accurate, that's going to have almost zero effect on the situation. And we need to have the infrastructure that's fit for purpose. And as you say, in certain counties around the country, Donegal, etc., and other more rural counties, it's no different to how it was. And we hear all these announcements from Eamon Ryan saying he's investing this, that, and the other, and everybody, will either be driving electric or cycling to work or whatever. That's fine, but it's not happening, and it's not happening at a quick enough pace. And then we have this dominating the headlines, a poster which basically shows you that, in theory, an EV is cheaper to run. And it is cheaper to run.
Yeah.
Let's be very frank about that. It's not just the fact that the cars are nice to drive, and you're being better to the environment with zero emissions, and better to the local community with zero pollution. they are much cheaper to run if you can charge them at home, and of course if you can charge them.
Yeah, I think too, if I were marketing, I would actually, and I've kind of thrown it in myself from time to time, and this is not a criticism or anything that you've said, Shane, but zero emissions at the exhaust, I think is a good way of phrasing it, and it's more honest because obviously there are emissions in the manufacturing of these vehicles, but certainly there are zero emission at the exhaust. So also too, it'll be interesting if they use, real world driving figures or manufacturers' figures as well. I think they're not going to get away with the manufacturing figures, actually, be it an ICE engine or an electric engine.
Yeah, we still have an issue. A few years ago, we changed the standard fuel economy test over to a newer system called WLTP. And that was supposedly to make it more realistic, but it's turned out not to be. Now, you kind of can't blame the car makers too much for that, because they, by law, have to publish what the range is in an electric car or the fuel economy in a petrol diesel car on that WLTP cycle. But it's very unrealistic, unfortunately. And I'd like to see a lot more car makers come out and, as well as doing the WLTP figures, which they have to do, also publish realistic real-world figures. And for electric cars, perhaps publish real-world winter figures as well, because that makes a big difference for some of them.
Yeah, because you do get a decent range, but if you tell someone it's 500 kilometres and then 2 weeks into driving they realise it's 280, you don't want to lose a customer there. You have to. I think honesty with the customer is better than sort of trying to sell the cars with unrealistic expectations. Where do you what do you see with the future of electric cars? Obviously we're certainly not going to meet 2030 targets, but do you think they will eventually replace the ICE engine? Over what period of time? They are becoming more affordable. You know what I mean? You can get an electric car for under 30k,
Oh, absolutely. I think in the short to medium term, it is going to happen. I know there's a lot of rhetoric around, anti-EV rhetoric around right now in this very moment in media, but honestly, it's happening. There's been billions invested in it around the world, especially in Europe, and in the short to medium term, they are going to replace the internal combustion engine. I don't know for sure. I don't believe they're the long-term solution to personal transportation, shall we say, because there's still a lot of issues. You still have to mine materials such as lithium. Batteries are big, heavy things.
You have to generate the electricity as well. It's all right saying 30% of our electricity comes from wind power at one stage or another, but it's a little bit like the car chargers. We keep talking about, generating more green energy, but where is that at the moment? It might be zero emissions at the exhaust, but, we're burning gas or whatever it might be to create that energy in the first place.
No, that is one of the arguments that's put out there. That is improving too, though. And I guess the big point there is that when we do get to a point where Ireland is carbon neutral in terms of producing its electricity, which we should do, even if it does take decades, if we're all driving electric cars, at least the cars are ready then. So you're right. Right now and here today, Joe Bloggs down the street with his home charger, he might just be charging that up from a coal-fired plant.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, World Car Awards juror. Have you done that work, or is that ongoing, or is it annual? Or effectively, my next question is, what's the best car in the world?
That's not a simple question. How long have we got? This is actually my first year on the jury representing Ireland, and the awards itself is over 20 years old this year. But it's an ongoing thing. You don't become a juror to drive cars. You become a juror because you drive all the cars.
Yeah.
It's the other way around. So it is an ongoing thing. In my daily job, I drive and test cars all the time. And because of that, I'm eligible to vote on the awards. And it's going to be announced next week, actually, at the New York Auto Show. We're going to announce all the winners. We did our voting already. So it's interesting. And even though it is World Car Awards, and there are cars from all over the world that are eligible but not sold in Ireland. The top three, the finalists, all are sold in Ireland. They're the Kia EV9, which is a big electric SUV.
That's the big chunky one. It is a beautiful looking car.
It is huge, but it is a really excellent car.
Who's that? What's the big player in the electric car market again? It's three letters. The Chinese company.
BYD.
I mean, they've a huge SUV. Looks very much like a Land Rover. It can do pirouettes.
That's right.
But
that's got a lot of attention. It's got a tank turn, it's called.
Yeah, what a piece of machinery that must be. Sorry, what's the other two? You got me you got me distracted. I got me distracted. What's the other two?
Actually, one of them is from BYD. It's called the BYD Seal, but it's a little a mid-size sports saloon, kind of like a Tesla Model 3. And that's a really nice car, actually. And then the third one, which I suspect might win it, either this or the Kia, is the Volvo EX30. So it's a new, smaller Volvo electric crossover. So in my opinion, it'll be the Volvo or the Kia, but I could be wrong. BYD might surprise me.
A caller says, I know a few... sorry, it's actually on this one. Does anyone take into account the price of replacing a battery? Now, I think the manufacturers are starting to switch on to this because, is it Toyota? They're giving quite a long guarantee on the battery. But, I mean, like... ICE engines have to be changed as well. Do you know what I mean? I had an old Audi and the engine went in it and I had to go and source one for €2,000 or €3,000. We're not seeing... I'm not an electric car advocate here, but you have to go by what you see. I mean, they tend to hold the capacity as much as you generally tend to charge them, even over long periods of time. And I don't think there's massive amount of people changing batteries all of the time, is there? I mean...
No. There's been quite a bit of hysteria about this recently, and some bad press for EVs. And again, I'm not an EV advocate either. I'm very neutral on the subject. But the fact is that, just like, as you were saying, a petrol or diesel engine, there are occasions where there's complete failure of a petrol or diesel engine, certainly later in the car's life, and that costs quite a bit to replace it fully. It's the same with an electric car battery. If you had to replace the whole battery, it would be very expensive. But that is, number one, very rare. And number two, you can repair or replace cells or parts of the battery. You don't replace the whole battery every time. But the key thing here is that it's a rare issue. You know, batteries and electric motors are inherently...
You see, you'll get one post from, and it's normally screenshotted, where a person went into the local garage to get a price for the battery. It was €25,000 or something. And then that's screenshotted, and then it becomes as if that is the norm when it's not the norm. I'm not saying it never happened. Why don't you mention the massive loss you suffer when you buy... People think... I love when people text in as if I'm not going to mention it. Of course I'm going to mention it if you text in. Why don't you mention the massive loss you suffer when you buy an EV? Social media is full of users relating how their vehicle has lost half its value even after a few months. I'm not quite sure about that. In some instances, garages won't take an EV as a trade-in. That's certainly, there was one lady down the country that was on News Talk talking about this. She has backpedaled a little bit and has now joined an EV Facebook page because she's on the way to seeing the light, I think. But anyway, in some instances, garages won't take an EV as a trade-in unless it's at a ridiculously reduced price tag. Now, I'm not...
Now, this is a really interesting point. It's something we've been discussing a lot recently. And this is true, but it's of the moment, I feel. Now, if you go back a year, and actually I own an EV, even though I'm not pro-EV, I would say, but I have an EV because it suits our life. We have it for 3 years now. And last year, we could have traded it in and made a profit on it, because there was less supply, more demand. So that in that moment of time,
that was the chip shortage and all those things.
Value.
Yeah, okay. But
this year,
yeah,
it's changed. It's gone the other way. There's a massive supply, and demand is waning a little bit. But I very strongly feel that it's a temporary situation, and then by next year, I think things are going to stabilize.
Well, you need a strong second-hand market, don't you? And you need a sufficient supply of used EVs. Presumably.
Oh, 100%. And this is I think is the focus here, and the worry about batteries, that when cars come out of warranty and everything. But it should be said as well that all modern EVs, their batteries and motors come with long warranties, usually at least 8 years, 150, 160,000 kilometers, sometimes up to 10 years. Some very few ones say 1 million kilometers, but on average, most are 8 to 10 year warranty on the battery, and that's more than you'll get in any engine.
All right, I forgot why we invited you on to talk. It was about signage outside garages. We sort of went down an EV rabbit hole there. But very, very interesting. And I appreciate your time, Shane. And thanks so much. Lovely to chat to you.
Bye, Greg.
All right, take care of yourself. Shane O'Donoghue, motoring journalist, editor of Complete Car and World Car Awards juror. Now, if you've had an EV, like maybe one of the old Nissan Leafs, I had one of them, and you're still driving around in it, as I say, just to strike a balance or to get real-world experiences, please let us know if you're a long-term EV owner, how it's holding up for you and what have you. I know a few people who got rid of electric cars, said it cost too much. Another, I hope to be driving an automatic diesel car in the next 2 years. You will. I mean, listen, they're certainly not going to meet the 2030 1 million electric cars on the road. Maybe if they chuck in hybrids, they might, or soft hybrids, or whatever it might be. But your diesel car is still going to be around for quite some time. I'm pretty confident of that. All right, listen, again, thanks to Shane. It's always an interesting conversation, I think, the EVs, and it always sparks quite a bit of debate.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
Hold that door.
Where are you going with all that gear?
I'm applying for a community heritage grant.
Maps, a scanner, night vision goggles?
For the nocturnal animals.
But you don't need all that stuff, do you?
Not at all. All you need is a worthy project, but the grant covers so many heritage projects, you can never be too prepared.
Well, good thing we're going up, so give your project a lift. Apply for a community heritage grant at heritagecouncil.ie/funding. Applications close March 25th. Supported by the Department of Housing, Local Government and Heritage.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us what...
The Lotto jackpot is an estimated €5.2 million. Play responsibly in-store, in-app or at lottery.ie. The National Lottery. It could be you.
When it's time for confirmation or first communion, it's time for a trip to Watson Menswear, Letterkenny. Choose from a great selection of top label, casual and formal wear. Suits with matching shirts and ties, blazers and jackets. Also denims, chinos and footwear from big names like Diesel, 1880 Club and Tommy Bow. Stand out on the big day at Watson Menswear. Open 7 days a week on Main Street, Letterkenny and watsonmenswear.com.
The infection felt terrible. I just wasn't getting better. I was breathing fast and I felt confused. I had shivers and pain through my body. I was drinking water, but I wasn't peeing. I felt like I was going to die. In the hospital, they said I had sepsis. And it's urgent.
Sepsis can hide behind any infection at any age, so watch out for the signs. Visit hse.ie/sepsis for more information. And don't be afraid to ask the question, could it be sepsis? From the HSE.
Tuesday, 2nd of April is World Autism Awareness Day, and we can't wait to celebrate it at Century Complex. We will be having a sensory screening of Kung Fu Panda 4 in Century Cinemas at 11 a.m. before the crowds. Century Play will also be sensory friendly from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on the day to let the little ones explore.
Now we're joined on the programme by Fiona McCrabb, manager of Folk Community Play Group. Thanks for your time, Fiona. I do appreciate it. I wish we were speaking under different circumstances, but here we are. Sorry, Fiona, you're muted. If you don't mind, just unmuting. That's fine, because I want to hear what you have to say, of course. So whilst we wait on Fiona to do that, just to let you know, you can text or WhatsApp 086 60 25,000 or call 07491 25,000. Right, let me see. How do we do that? Oh, have you, Fiona? Hello? No, I still can't hear you. Let me kick you out and bring you back in again. I know that sounds harsh, but it's meant with love, because I do want to be able to hear what you're saying. Right, yes, we're going to be talking now about the Rafo Community Play Group. It is going to be condemned at the end of June, they've been told, because of defective concrete. And an awful lot of effort, of course, went into getting it into the situation it was. A beautiful facility, but all that work could be undone. I just wonder, yes, Fiona, I have you now. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg, and thanks for having me on and highlighting our struggle.
No, and as I said in the preamble, and I meant it, I wish I was speaking to you about something else, more positive. Talk to me about the building, Fiona, and the history of it before we sort of get to the point where we learn that there could be and there is defective concrete.
Yeah, we moved into this building after years of fundraising in the Millennium. It was opened by President Mary McAleese. Prior to that, we were in a series of prefabs. So this building was funded with money from the International Fund for Ireland, along with a lot of fundraising. So we've been here just over 20 years. The cracks have been apparent for a good number of years, and we've been monitoring them. We've been, doing some maintenance. We were going to build an extension, so we had the building surveyed by an engineer, and he recommended that we have a mica test, which we did. So about 18 months ago, I think we realized that the mica is in our foundations and our rising walls. It's not. Our walls are quite solid; they're quite strong, but with the foundations moving, the cracks are now appearing, and more so in the inside of the building.
All right, which is different to what we sort of often hear in residential property, but in your case, it's the rising walls and the foundations, which are clearly showing the signs of defective material, which it's gut-wrenching, as much as it is in a private home, also in a brilliant facility like this. Talk to me about the role the Raphoe Community Playgroup and this building has in the community and the importance of it.
Well, I think we're, in my opinion, we're Raphoe's greatest asset. We're totally interdenominational. We welcome children from all walks of life, all abilities. We've never turned a child away from here. We've taken children that haven't had their needs met in other settings. The staff here go above and beyond to give every child that's come through our doors the best early years education that we can give them.
Okay, so you can no longer continue in that building. What is the situation that's led to, I mean, obviously it's defective concrete, but the process that's led to the building actually being condemned, which means beyond use? Does that what that means by the end of June?
Yeah, I know we're probably erring on the side of caution, but we've had an engineer monitoring the situation. We have markers on the cracks that are monitoring the movement. He's been gauging that. First of all, it was a 6 monthly basis, and now we're down to 2 weekly basis. So he came on Saturday a week ago when I met with him, and he just said, I knew he was going to tell me, Fiona, this building it won't be safe. Is it
easy to explain how he explains that movement or interprets the readings?
It's beyond me.
No, if I would have thought so. I wouldn't have thought it's beyond you, Fiona, but I'd imagine it's just really quite technical from an engineering point of view. That's okay.
But it's actually visible to the naked eye. I can see the cracks getting bigger.
Yeah.
And there's bits of plaster falling off the wall just this last couple of weeks.
And as you quite rightly say, you have to err on the side of caution. It's unimaginable, isn't it, that the beautiful town of Raphoe could be without this facility heading into the long days of the summer.
Yeah, I mean, I've made a promise to the families that are enrolled to come here in September. I will have somewhere for their children to go. We've had an offer from a community group in the town, and just this morning we've had an offer from a businessman offering his premises. So we will have somewhere.
But that's lovely, and that's fantastic local generosity. But you're moving out of your house, effectively. That an awful lot of effort and love has gone into, but also an awful lot of people have gone through that. It holds an important place in the heart of the local community as well.
We have children here that their parents came here, and their grandparents set up this playgroup. Back in 1982. It's nearly every family in Raphoe has some connection to the playgroup, and they're fantastic. They've always supported us in the past, but we're asking the same people again that helped to fund this building. Now we're going back. We have an I Donate page. We're asking the same people, and it's not their responsibility.
I get you, and we're going to talk about that a little later on because we'll finish on that. But the reason you might have to fundraise again is because with all the talk of a redress scheme and what have you, this is not Raphoe Community Playgroup's fault or anyone associated with this.
No.
They fundraised, sought the funding, and built in good faith this building for a lifetime and beyond. But because of defective materials, it is now going to be condemned at the end of June. It is not the community play group's fault, but the redress scheme that is there takes no account of your situation. Now, we understand private residence, people's homes, yes, really important, but this is really important as well. But you have no redress through any scheme to help with the rebuilding of this property.
None whatsoever, and I do feel for people that have mica in their homes, but this affects 50 families this year. The children have enrolled and have nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, as I say, I'll finish with the fundraising, but it's very important, I think, that the community, the wider community, not just RFO, but the wider community too, raise this issue with local public representatives so they get on board to try and get some sort of a justice here.
Yes, I just over a week ago, I emailed Roderick O'Gorman, who is the Minister for Children and Youth Affairs. I added every TD and councillor that I could think of. I have had one response from our local councillor. The rest haven't acknowledged my email.
Who responded to you?
Frank McBurty.
Frank McBurty Jr., which is very important to point out, I think. So of all the people you sent that to and all that you CC'd in it, local councillor Frank McBurty was the only one that replied to that email. Well, that's shocking, isn't it? Well, in fair play to Frank, I don't mean that part of it shocking, but the fact that only one replied is shocking.
He's the only councillor. We've had a couple of TDs that, the generic response, thank you for bringing this to our awareness, we will raise, and I think Piers Doherty's raised a question in the Dáil. Yeah. So we're waiting for a response from there. But it's not responses that we need. It's
not platitudes. It's actual help here. Stay where you are. I want to bring Holly in. Holly, are you there still?
Yes, I'm here, yes.
Thanks for joining us, Holly. I mean, you work in childcare, not at this facility, but you do understand and recognise the importance of this type of facility in a local community.
Oh, of course I do. Like, I've been working in childcare now 10 years and I've seen a lot of change happening, and I think it's just beyond ridiculous that the government aren't helping at all. They've not even put one penny towards it. Like, this is the start of the children's educational journey. We're there to help aid them and their learning through play. And my children attend the RFO playgroup. And so has my nieces, and my nephew will be starting there as well. So, like, my eldest niece, she's coming 17. So, like, that just shows how long this is going, what RFO needs, this playgroup, as well, too. So, it's,
Past, current and future generations, Holly.
Yes, that's it. And my husband, he attended that plays group too as well. So it just shows how long it's been going on. Like, it's vital that we have this play group because parents need it too, and it's the start of the children's education as well too. They get so much out of it, so much.
Yeah, it is an ironic that it is the building blocks here that are under threat, but these type of facilities provide the building blocks for people in life.
Yeah, that's true. That's very well said. And we're, as our town, we're all uniting together, but it's just getting that extra help too as well from the government. And I think it's absolutely shocking that they will not give anything, and we're just really now trying to put the pressure on the government and TDs and stuff as well.
Yeah, okay, Holly, listen, fair play to you. Thanks for helping us highlight this story. And Fiona, it's like, it's justice that you need, right? Because these have been wrong. This is happening through no fault of your own. I mean, you're only looking for justice here. The purpose of the I Donate, I haven't actually seen it, so I don't know what the target is. Talk to me about the I Donate fundraiser.
Okay, so the fundraiser, we're hoping to raise £1 million, €1 million. We were applying for funding. There was, funnily enough, it's called Building Blocks Grant. And we were encouraged to apply for that. So we were getting prepared. With plans drawn up. They're almost ready to go for planning permission. And when the Building Blocks Grant was published, we don't meet the criteria. It's so stringent. We don't meet the criteria. So we're not eligible to apply for that funding either. So we decided, we've got the iDonate page. People are being so generous. But it's not up to the people and the families and the parents to fund. It's supposed to be a free education. The government have accepted they have a responsibility to homeowners to have a redress scheme and, help the homeowners. Well, they have a responsibility to all community groups that are facing the same struggle.
That's it. Even if they don't have a responsibility to the building, and we know they do, there's a responsibility to the community and the children.
Yes.
And the parents and families and guardians and what have you. Listen, I mean, it's a huge target, Fiona. I hope it's achieved, but at least it does put it out there that this is how desperate people are to retain a facility here. Let us not forget, you did nothing wrong. You, in good faith, used materials which you would have presumed had the correct oversight to ensure that they were fit for purpose.
Yes.
You were failed by the system. You were failed by that oversight. And yet here we are, having to go back to the public again.
But we won't fail the children. We will fight, and we'll shout and we'll shout loud, and we won't fail the families of Revoke. We will have somewhere for their children to go.
I've no doubt about that. I've no doubt. Okay, but it's just heartbreaking. You had it all there, and now to see this building being condemned, and it'll quickly fall into God knows what state once it's not being used regularly. All right, Fiona, listen, keep in touch with us. Let us know if there's any developments or if there's anything further we can do to help.
Thank you so much.
You know the email address. All right, thank you. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye. That's Fiona McCrabb there, manager of Revoke Community Playgroup. As I say, there's no point reiterating it all, but they are effectively being made homeless come the end of June. The foundations and rising walls are being destroyed or are destroyed with defective concrete, and you can imagine the weight that's sitting on them. They've got monitors on. It was 6 monthly tests, then bi-weekly. Such is the speed of the deterioration there. 086 60 25,000 if you have a comment in relation to that. Colin says 3 out of 4 of our children have attended Refoe Play School, and the 4th child will be starting this incoming year, and we see how much it has helped our children starting out. We cannot afford to lose this essential role in our kids' life. Hear, Colin. All right, back with more shortly.
Checkdracht wahi liasan fobal o chorla condai wina now. Is an tamshot in Vian a will draw Honila Hatchamana a cruhu chimpistry. A hanro esugut na fager uber asprela a el janta or skihan screepe, no jeshu denge, a hawain ig ubrihar jevnihe a will chastis cadihe, bali ega o chorla condai wina now. Ni more dan ena jeshihe kalaha, no dan rar she chastis bali a hishpanch. A cruhu go nyarnu kegarach dahu, agus go gólíonn siad canglis na reachtaíachta, pension na masla, na drorlíonn siad deachleachtas an ahhailghríicniú fihicle agus an acta chruilú Le hailiste Suez handéite de Ibrari Jivnithe, shecha Lightran Graysign na Corlia, na Curglia Orin, ag ní hí na quig, trí ní, nád a nád. Corlia Condai, Winanal, ag cosaint na chimplachta.
Keep out the cold, and ring Fleming for their full range of garage doors, agri doors, insulated doors, milking parlour doors. Fleming, 91 48 234.
Save on carving and laminate essentials at Homeland. Gas Buddings debutter now €165. Milk Bar 10 compartment feeder now €179. Nutrius Ovigold and Bovigold mineral range, buy 2.5 litre, get 1 litre free. And there's 10% off the FlexiThin Classic waterproof jacket and trousers in store and online at homeland.ie. Nationwide delivery available. Offers available until March 31st.
Century Complex is a perfect destination for your family day out this Easter, with lots of options in backstage bar and grill, a selection of movies in Century Cinemas, and don't forget our Easter party in Century Play on Sunday the 31st of March from 10:30am to 12pm for that final hurrah before our extensive renovations begin. Check out our website at centurycinemas.ie.
A Highland Radio weather update with Ireland West Airport. Time to book that business trip to London. Fly daily to London Stansted and Luton with Ryanair and London Heathrow with Aer Lingus. Ireland West Airport. Don't just take off, take it easy.
Now, the weather forecast for today. Today will be largely dry with sunny spells developing later this morning, although cloud will increase again this evening. Highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees with a light to moderate northerly wind. Joseph O'Neill's committee member of Letterkenny Against Genocide is with us now. Hi, Joseph. You're muted there, Joseph. Sorry, if you just could unmute so I can hear what you're saying.
My fault.
It's okay.
Hi, Greg.
No problem.
Many thanks for inviting us back again. Very much appreciate that.
All right. You're part of Letterkenny Against Genocide. You hold weekly demonstrations at the Tesco roundabout and have for some time. It predates the current media attention on the Middle East.
Yes, we've been doing. We started doing it on First Fridays over a year ago because we were aware that this is a genocide a long time ago, even before October. And we were asked by local Palestinians to increase the regularity of our witnesses. We don't call them demonstrations, we call them witnesses. So we have them every Saturday, midday till 2 at the Tesco roundabout in Letterkenny. And we get a great response. We hold up signs saying a honk or beep, beep for Palestine, and we get an excellent response from people passing by.
Even though perhaps this would have been flagged and what have you in the past, but pre the awful massacre early October and the events that followed, I don't think anyone could have predicted the terrible situation we're seeing being inflicted on the innocent people, the women and children in Palestine. No one could have predicted the extent of it. The fact that it's happening in broad daylight in front of the world's eyes and just continues. And every morning you wake up, 30 people killed on a roundabout this morning who had been gathered together to try and get the food that is needed to the right people in the absence of Hamas. They would have had a role in that in the past, I would imagine. Just 30 people wiped out like that, one bomb. Another bomb went off in a refugee camp. Another 15 people, the last time I checked, just obliterated. We don't know what they are, but the likelihood is that they are women and children for the most part. We can't allow ourselves to be desensitized, can we?
No. Thank you, Greg. I feel I hardly need to say anything because you're obviously very well informed about the issue and have taken the right approach to it. I'm very grateful to Highland Radio and I'm very grateful to the Irish people because we wouldn't be having this conversation on an English radio station, I don't think.
Yeah, but it's important we're on the right side of history too.
Yeah. But of course, it's self-evident. As they say, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. There's a genocide going on. It's well documented. It's been in front of the International Court of Justice, who said, the end of January, come back to us in a month, Israel, and show us, stop doing genocide. And they've come back in a month and they continued. And as you say, the numbers are atrocious. It's at least 200 people a day, mostly women and children, and the figure has now gone above 30,000.
Talk to me about this poster that's appeared at the foot of Ergal. We can see it there for those watching the show.
I was delivering an exhibition for a friend of mine. He's a Jewish and Israeli Holocaust survivor. He's a famous artist called Zohar. And I was delivering the exhibition to Guidor. It's a series of Palestinian paintings, which he did back in 2017. Anyway, I passed by this poster. I'd seen it a few times before. And it's on the way when you're driving from Guidor towards that lovely view up to Ergal, the iconic view. And this time I thought, I've got a bit of time. It's sunny. I'll get out and photograph it. I don't know who made the poster. It's a big poster. There's no sign as to who made it. I mean, it's probably some local Palestine support group. And I think they use a cartoonist called Latuf. He's Latuff, a well-known, I think, Chilean cartoonist who does very, very to the point cartoons about what's happening. And what it has is an Israeli soldier sort of leering over a poor Palestinian woman whose child is bleeding to death in her arms. And there's a picture of an Israeli jet with the Star of David on it, dropping bombs down in Gaza. And the sign said, the woman, it's all in Irish, so I had to translate it for the English audience. The lady's saying, help us. And the strap line at the bottom says, eject the Israeli ambassador now. So I was impressed. It's very powerful.
And I mean, listen, that's a call that's been made for quite some time. But really, the international community have a response. This is almost now gone beyond, what individuals can do. And that is not to discourage anyone from doing what they choose to do. But as I say, I think people are pretty aware as to what's happening now. No one could ever justify the attacks in Israel in early October. It was absolutely disgusting. But unfortunately, it seems a survey of Israelis shows that many of them believe that the response has been proportionate, which is quite concerning.
It's shocking. The research shows quite clearly most Jews live in Israel and in America, and the research shows quite clearly that almost all rabbis, all synagogues, and almost all Jews support the genocide. It's quite shocking, really. It's almost like a whole group of people have been brainwashed.
Yes, but we'd hope that's not reflective of Jewish people, though. I mean, that is a survey and what have you. I don't know enough Jewish people to know myself, but I can't imagine that we certainly couldn't suggest that all Jewish people are of that view.
No, I mean, the facts are that most are. We have moderate Jews in our group, and several Israelis, they're quite clear that what's happening is absolutely shocking. In fact, several members of our interfaith group for Palestine, Jewish people, have felt the need to leave Israel. They've done what they can. They've had to leave and go into permanent exile because their voices are not being listened to. And the fact is that almost all Jews worldwide are supporting genocide.
Well, according to surveys, we don't know. We can't go. I get you. I understand. I'm not disputing it. I'm not disputing it with you.
But it's a survey carried out by a Jewish group.
Understood. Okay.
And the fact is, the evidence is quite clear from Israeli TV and society and their leaders and their people and the soldiers showing themselves laughing as they bomb Palestinians. The evidence quite clear is that most Jews in Israel support the genocide, and many of them take part in it joyfully.
Okay.
Very sad. It's a sad thing to say. It's a fact.
Yeah, okay, Joseph. Listen, I actually do have to go for the news at 11. I appreciate your time.
Good news. I'm going to leave you some good news. Good news.
Go ahead.
Good news is that many doctors in Letterkenny are joining our Saturday protest, and they've now started having vigils at the hospital organised by Tom McBride, a retired psychiatrist. So the medical profession in Letterkenny is fully on board with the Palestinian people.
Joseph O'Neill, thank you very much for your time today. Have a good day. All right, it is the 9 till noon show. Now, let's take a news update at 11 o'clock, and it's over to Donald Kavanagh.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. The Rafo Community Playgroup has confirmed it's moving to a temporary premises at the end of June because its building has been condemned due to the presence of mica in the foundations and rising walls. A major fundraising campaign is being launched to raise money for a replacement building. A major report on proposed assisted dying laws is to be published later today. However, divisions have emerged in the committee overseeing it. Once the report has been published, the committee's chair, Deputy Michael Healy-Rae, is to hold a private press conference along with Senator Ronan Mullen. A Lifford Stranraer councillor says there must be more focus on the need for improvements to the Cork and Bends on the N15 between Stranraer and Killygordon. The 1.5 kilometre stretch to the east of Stranraer has been identified as being in need of realignment. A public consultation ended in December. Donegal County Council hopes to move to design stage shortly. It had been hoped works might start next year. However, the indications now are it'll be late 2027 before a contractor is appointed. Councillor Patrick McGowan says that is far too late. The family of a young girl from Redcastle who became very ill while on holiday in Benidorm say they're blown away by the support they've received from the public. Millie Wilson, who turns 2 next month, was hospitalised after becoming ill and was diagnosed with bacterial meningitis and sepsis. A GoFundMe page established to support the family has raised over €14,000. And the head of the GRA says he's confident members will back proposals to end the Garda roster dispute. The National Executive of the Garda Representative Association has accepted a new proposal. A ballot of members will take place at the height of the dispute. Rank and file Gardaí voted no confidence in Commissioner Drew Harris. GRA President, Donegal-based Garda Brendan O'Connor, says the latest plan should put the issue to bed. And we're back with news headlines again at 12 noon.
Donald, thank you very much indeed. And we'll be back with more in the 9 till noon show into the last hour of today's programme after we take this break.
Don't miss the BAFTA award-winning comedian Michael McIntyre's brand new show, Magnificent, at the SSE Arena Belfast on Friday the 31st of May 2024. As always, Highland Radio make it easy for you as we look after all your needs. We will provide luxury transfers, overnight stay at the Clayton Hotel Belfast on a B&B basis, your ticket to the show, shopping time in Belfast City Centre. For more information, go to the outlet at highlandradio.com or give us a call on 074 91 25000. Michael McIntyre in Belfast.
McDade's Bathroom Plumbing and Tile Showroom in Buncrana is your one-stop solution for all your bathroom plumbing and tile needs. We offer a wide range of top-quality plumbing fixtures, tiles and accessories, all at the best possible price. Our experienced plumbing experts will help you choose the right products for your bathroom, renovation, new construction or remodelling project. Visit McDade's Bathroom Plumbing and Tiles in Buncrana and see why we are the best choice for all your bathroom and plumbing and tile needs.
Creative Landscaping Works are the Donegal distributors of millboard cladding and decking. Thanks to its unique polymer resin construction, this decking and cladding doesn't deteriorate like natural wood and won't be beaten for durability. It also has superb slip resistance, even when wet, and every board is produced using recycled materials. Live life outside with millboard at Creative Landscaping Works, Lisnen and Letterkenny. See creativelandscapingworks.com.
Craving a taste of bliss by the water? Dive into deliciousness at the Water's Edge in Rathmullen. Our coffee and snack bar offers a daily dose of freshness and flavour, from scrumptious light bites to tasty snacks and freshly brewed coffee. Served daily from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And delicious fresh pizza served daily from 12 p.m. Opening Thursday the 14th of March. See you soon at the Water's Edge.
TFI Local Link operates evening and weekend services throughout rural Ireland to help you stay connected 7 days a week. We know life doesn't just happen 9 to 5, so if you're commuting, shopping, visiting family, or going out in the evenings or on the weekends, let TFI Local Link take you there. Visit transportforireland.ie.
At CS Architectural Salvage, you'll find made-to-measure traditional cast-iron radiators, exterior garden ornaments, original Belfast brick, decorative brick, granite cobbles, quarry tiles, natural stone flag, railway sleepers and much more. Log on to csarchitecturalsalvage.com.
Let's join Steve live for the build-up. What's your prediction?
I've been watching this team for a very long time, Gary, and I can tell you now, the score will be 3-1, there'll be over 9 corners, and the French lad will score a header.
Very specific, Steve.
It's Bet Builder from LiveScore Bet, pal. You can combine markets from thousands of options to create your own bet. Or, if you can't make up your mind, choose from the pre-built quick bet options.
Which is exactly what you did, isn't it? Bet Builder from LiveScore Bet. Building a bet just got easier. Full account terms apply. Bet responsibly. 18 plus gamblingcare.ie.
Now, Chris Ashmore is going to join us a little later on with Business Matters news and a preview of the podcast. But now we're joined in studio by Trudy Doherty from Moville. Thank you so much for joining us, Trudy.
That's a pleasure, Greg. Thanks
it's
very
great
much
to
for
have
having
you.
me.
It's great to have you in board. Now, does this story start last April?
Not really. It sort of starts maybe in the August before that.
All right, talk to me. Pick it up wherever you want to.
I suppose I started at the very beginning. I started, when I was wiping after going to the toilet, noticed blood, and left it for a while, and I thought, right, you know what, I'm going to be a big girl, I'm going to go to the doctor. So I went to the doctor. Now, you know yourself, it's not easy getting a doctor's appointment, but I managed to get one with the locum in Moville. So when I went and said that I was passing blood, he says, and what do you think it could be? And I said, well, it could be hemorrhoids, that. And he goes, that's probably what it is. So he sent me packing with suppositories and laxatives.
That was the end of that.
I
Consultation.
never took my temperature or no. So I come out and I was feeling really frustrated and angry. I just thought, I've been totally dismissed and I've self-diagnosed and handed over €45 for the privilege. So my anger subsided and I thought, you know what, it probably is just hemorrhoids. But there was a wee voice in my head kept saying, but what if it's not?
I keep hearing about this wee voice that people need to listen to.
Yeah. So I listened to the wee voice until February and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to make an appointment with a doctor that I know.
Yeah.
So I made an appointment with her and I went up and I said to her, look, I was here in August and I was totally dismissed. And she goes, I'm really sorry. She says, because of that, Trudy, she says, I'm going to send you for a colonoscopy straight away. Now, she took me bloods and she done a poo sample. Now, in a funny sort of way, it was nearly as well that the first doctor didn't do anything, right? Because I'll explain now. my blood results come back, and my food results come back, and there was absolutely no markers that there was anything wrong.
Interesting.
When I went for colonoscopy, like, you're awake and you can see it on the screen, and I could see the mass on the screen when they were doing the colonoscopy. Now, I didn't know that it was cancer or a tumour or anything. I thought maybe it was bowel or Crohn's disease or something like that. I didn't for a second think that I had cancer.
So in the first consultation that you had, albeit, you know, unsatisfactory, you may not have at that point been referred for a colonoscopy. It could have just been the stool and blood samples.
And it would have come back
negative.
negative.
That would have come back negative.
And I would never have been sent for a colonoscopy.
And you probably would have continued down the route of treating something else that it wasn't.
Absolutely.
So when you get a colonoscopy like that there, do they give you an indication? I mean, obviously they're seeing stuff that they don't want to be seeing, right? But I presume there could be other reasons for it. It could be benign or whatever it could be. At that point, they take tissue samples, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
But did they relate anything to you at that time of the colonoscopy?
When they were doing I was fully awake and looking at it on the screen, and I could see them like cutting off like small polyps.
Polyps, that's the name I was looking for.
And I felt fine. I did not feel sick at all. The only symptom I had was I was passing, like I couldn't even say I was passing blood. There was small bits of blood in the toilet tissue.
Okay.
And I felt fine. So I got the colonoscopy done, and then myself and my husband, we were sitting in the wee room, and the doctor and the stomach nurse, she came in. And I was handed 2 leaflets. One was tuberculosis or something like that, and another was Crohn's or bowel. And I said to Noel, I says, like, I've got one of these, because I saw it on the screen. I saw it. So when the doctor came in, she goes, yes, there's a tumour, and I sort of...
Wow, she was able to determine it
I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I've got this here, like. So I stopped listening. So there's a lot to take in, and the stomach nurse Julianne, she was there, she says, I'll explain all to you now.
Okay.
So when the doctor left, she explained all, and she goes, look, I know it's a big shock, like, you know, being told. But I says, right, it's a tumour. It's not cancer, it's a tumour. They can operate, take the tumour out, and I'll know, do biopsy, and then we'll know then. So that's what happened. I got my operation the 8th of June, and 6 weeks later, I got the results from that.
So you had 3B colorectal cancer. So what is that versus different? Like, why is it 3B colorectal? What does it mean?
Right, well, there's 4 stages of cancer, right? So you got 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then there's... The letters then stand for, like, you know, if it's spread to different parts of the body.
Okay.
So my cancer was in my colon, and it spread to my lymph nodes. So they took 19 lymph nodes and 14 tested positive. So that left me then at high stage.
Okay.
Now the only thing with colorectal cancer is that it's very hard to get it detected at an early stage, because obviously
but it's also spreads quite quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It can spread quite quickly.
So, like, I would say to anybody that if they have any kind of signs or symptoms at all, to go to your doctor straight away. And if you have the slightest doubt at all, don't think it could be hemorrhoids. It could be cancer.
Okay. Well, did you have to get a stoma or anything like that?
Yeah.
Or
I've had a stoma.
Is it a permanent one or reversible one?
It's temporary, but I'm sort of thinking, like, you know, I just spent a full year, like, you know, of my life not being me. I don't want to spend now. I'm supposed to go in June for the reversal, but I think I'll give it another 6 months. Just
really? Why?
Just because I want to get back to my life and get back to work and do the things I enjoy doing.
So the reversal would mean you're out of action for a bit longer?
Yeah.
Okay, I get you.
I'll be 6 weeks recovery for the reversal and that, but...
Okay. So what is the prognosis now? They've removed the lymph nodes, they've removed the tumour. Did you have to get any radiotherapy, chemotherapy?
I've had 12 rounds. Well, I've had 10 rounds of chemotherapy so far. I have 2 more to go.
Okay.
I had my second scan there just last Monday past, and it came back clear. So everything's going in the right direction for me,
brilliant
thankfully.
stuff.
But the only thing is, like, you know, it's a shadow is going to be hanging over me for the next 4 years at least. You know, I'm going to be checked first of all, it'll be every 3 months, then it'll be 6 months, and then it'll be every year.
But you talked about how it's hard to get it early. The one advantage of the regular checks is that hopefully, and we pray it wouldn't happen, and I'm sure it won't, but if there were any sort of red flags, hopefully they'd be spotted really, really quite quickly.
Well, I think it's up to the individual. Like, if you've got unexplained diarrhea or constipation, get it checked out.
Yeah, I mean, for you, though, going forward with the regular checkups.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. And also, too, I think there are some sort of, myths out there about colon cancer that you want to use this opportunity to dispel as well.
Well, now I was taking this as a compliment, Greg, right? Because my surgeon, who's really, really lovely.
I know where this is going, and I agree with your surgeon. You look young and beautiful.
Mr. Zijan said to me, he says, because you're so young, you're going to have to get chemotherapy for clean up and that. And I was like, so young? Keep talking. You're saying all the right things. But it wasn't until later that I realised the impact of what he was saying.
Yeah.
The fact that there is a national screening that you get in the post, like a pack to test your poo.
Yeah. What age is that kicking at?
59.
59.
Now, they're taking it down a year each year until it gets down to 50. But I've joined a Facebook group. It's the Irish Colorectal Cancer Support Group. I'm probably the oldest in it.
Yeah.
Right? There's young mothers that are stage 4.
Wow.
That haven't been sent for colonoscopies. So I think, we need to sort of change the mindset of the medical profession as well, to say this isn't an old person's disease anymore. This is now affecting young people.
So, no matter what age you are, if you see a change in your bowel movements, if you see any spotting or blood, it kind of is so innocuous that the first doctor thought it could have been piles, as it turns out it wasn't. But self-advocate, go and get it checked out. Yep. And if there's something saying no,
if the wee voice is talking
the wee voice, the gut, or whatever you want to describe it, you have to sort of go, well, no, I actually would like. This has ramifications too, presumably, truly, for those around you. I don't know if you have any siblings or what have you, but now they have to keep a close eye on things, presumably.
Well, I will definitely be advocating. I've got 3 children, and I will be saying that I'd like them to have a regular colonoscopy behind their 40.
I think that'd be shrewd, wouldn't it? That'd be clever, yeah.
You know, that I know that if they start having symptoms at all now, that because I've been tested positive, that they'll automatically be offered a colonoscopy because of me, which is sort of reassuring to know, that they wouldn't have to go through the whole let's wait and see.
So at the moment, just because the national screening programme isn't for under 59s, don't for a second think that this is not a condition or a disease that can affect people under 59. I think that could be a message that goes that could be misread there, but also to even push for a colonoscopy.
Yep.
Push for a colonoscopy.
Yeah, even if it turns out to be hemorrhoids, so what?
Yeah.
At least and as well as that, there's a lot of people that have polyps and they're harmless, but you can get them removed and they'll not turn into cancerous polyps.
Exactly. So. How have you found the chemotherapy side of the treatment?
I would honestly put my hand on my heart and say that the chemotherapy is worse than the cancer.
Yeah. Because you didn't know you had cancer, did you? Really?
Absolutely
Bar
not.
Spotting,
yeah. And I mean, I had no experience with anybody ever having cancer. I've had nobody close to me to ask about chemotherapy or anything. So I think when I went through the operation and everything, and I thought, right, once it's cut out of me, that's it, gone. And then I was told you have to get 12 rounds of chemotherapy, just as a clean up and all the rest. But I remember then going to meet the oncologist and stuff, my husband, and he was saying it's good chance of reoccurrence and all the rest, and I had to go down then, leave the oncology outpatient place to go down to get bloods done, and he goes it'll be a regular route that you'll be taken down to the blood room.
How does that make you feel?
But I remember walking down with Noel and I was like, no, I've got cancer. It was the first time, because of oncology, the
penny dropped.
It was that I acknowleded that yes, I have cancer, and
it's
that I'm at the start of a journey.
On him as well, and the rest of the family as well, of course. And how do you have you sort of worked out dealing with the possibility of it coming back? Because in this day and age now, I don't think, we all want reassuring words from our doctors and consultants and all that kind of stuff, but I think because of liability and litigiousness and what have you, they have to be really quite frank with us.
Well, to be honest with you, Greg, I would prefer to deal with the truth than to deal with a flaky kind of. We
can manage truth, can't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're really good with that. I think as humans, most of us are.
Yeah.
Caller says you're very brave, are you?
Realistic, maybe more than brave. I sort of had one I know I genuinely have sort of like, positive outlook.
Yeah, good.
There was one day I was up in, I can't even remember what it was. I was up in A&E waiting all day long, and there was all these people, and I thought, and I think it was after my second infusion, and I had all these scary stories like, you need to protect yourself from infection because it could turn into sepsis. And I'm sitting in the middle of A&E going like, oh my God, I'm in the middle of all these sick people. I'm just having to get bloods done, and I'm so terrified that I'm going to end up with sepsis. And I remember coming home, and I went down to the bedroom, and I just burst into tears. And I think it was a relief.
You felt vulnerable in that moment, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so vulnerable,
So I think that's another, like, it's obviously my first journey in cancer here. Like, I think for a cancer patient, especially at the early stages of chemo, and that, like, after listening, like, protect yourself from all infections and like wrap yourself up in cotton wool, to go into A&E and sit with all these people, oh my God, like,
you went in there for bloods though. Why do you have to sit in A&E?
I know, I was so terrified. It was scary.
Are you the type that put a name on your stoma? Your back?
It's my belly butt.
I know people have a tendency. I like it, belly button. All right, brilliant stuff. Okay, and it's quite interesting actually, and it's funny how we work as humans, Trudy, in that you're considering holding on to it for a further 6 months to get back into life, and then sort of, because I can understand that.
I really, because like for the last year, because I was diagnosed on the 4th of April. That's when I had the colonoscopy, so it was 4th of April last year is when I got my first diagnosis. And since then, I've been living on basically every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because like chemo's every 2 weeks.
Fortnight cycle of
appointments
stuff,
every 2 weeks. So you sort of miss a week out of your...
Yeah, for sure.
Out of your calendar.
And a lot of people have to get stomas and for permanence, forever. And people react differently. I don't want to sort of, judge people of all the same, but for some people, when they're told it, they think, oh, that's the end of it then, so I can't do this and I can't do that and I can't travel and I can't swim and I can't, not always the case though, obviously.
I think you need to sort of just like accept. I've accepted the stoma as part of me getting on with my life. I can go swimming and stuff like that. Do you know what annoys me most actually, Greg? Is my PICC line.
Your what?
I have a PICC line, for getting my chemo in.
Oh, right.
So if I get up in the morning to go for a shower, I have to wrap it and cling film and then put a sleeve over the top of it before I go for a shower.
You know what I'd do? Skip the shower. I'd be half in my showers, I think, Trudy.
So, the stoma bag, it's not a problem.
Isn't
at all.
that interesting? It's interesting that's not the thing. It's the.
I can't wait to get rid of the PICC line out of my arm.
Hi, Greg. My partner went into his GP 4 years ago, and only if he went back twice, it wouldn't have been picked up that he had cancer of the bowel at only 40 years of age. Dr. Zishans was amazing. If he hadn't gone back to his GP, he wouldn't be here. Isn't that remarkable?
Can I just agree with that caller there? Dr. Zishan is absolutely amazing. Now, a lot of people were saying to me, go to Galway. Galway is the centre of excellence, go to Galway. And I thought, why would I go to Galway? Well, like, if everybody goes to Galway, we'll lose whatever we have in Letterkenny.
Yeah, good.
And I have absolutely no regrets going to Letterkenny. I know Letterkenny Hospital sometimes get very bad press. I've absolutely nothing negative to say about Letterkenny. They have been absolutely amazing.
The thing worries me, Trudy, too, though, is, with misdiagnoses or missed diagnoses, we don't know how that's affecting families here. So we've got you, right, sitting in front of us, thank God, Trudy, but it was thanks to your little voice that you continue to listen to, right? And then we've got Robert's partner there, who went back again to the GP. Like, that's two people that went back because they didn't like what they heard the first time. I don't think I would. I think I'd walk out of the GPs with a skip in my step because I heard what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I walked out mad because it cost me €45 to self-diagnose.
That's just because you're tight, Trudy. That could have gone towards the holiday.
Exactly.
Okay. I just want to say fair play to Trudy on talking about colon cancer, making awareness for everyone else. She sounds such a brave woman, but I asked you about the braveness, so we won't talk about that again. CRC awareness is April. You got your diagnosis in April.
Yeah.
Your official diagnosis, though I think you'd self-diagnose this yourself. That's Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. So we're a little early, but that's okay too. There's a 5K coming up, a walk stroke run.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Well, I decided, I knew nothing about colorectal cancer before I got my diagnosis. Absolutely nothing, never heard of it. And I thought, if I can help one person get diagnosed early, then my journey will be worthwhile. So I decided, right, I'll get blue balloons and we'll do a 5K walk. And sure, Inishowen Hospice is just like baby steps. And I thought, I'll raise a wee bit of money for them too. So on the 6th of April, I'm going to have an awareness campaign down in the community centre in Greencastle, just to get people to talk about their poo, basically.
Yeah, I know. Do you know that your philosophy is the same as mine? When we talk about stuff on this programme, all that the only thing, well, firstly, awareness is good anyway, right? But if one person identifies or connects with that and goes to the GP or gets something checked out or goes for a diagnosis, then I consider my work done here. So if we, between ourselves, Trudy, there could be someone who's come out of the GPs feeling like you did and hasn't gone back yet. Even if they go back and they go down the colonoscopy route, it's all fine. That's grand.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
you've nothing to lose if it's all fine.
If it just means that one person gets that diagnosis before things start getting, worse, then me and you were doing our job. So 5K walk run, Saturday, 6th of April. Refreshment served afterwards in the centre. It's the Greencastle Centre, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. And you want as many people as possible to come along and get involved?
Absolutely. Sure, why not? And dogs are free. You can take your dog with you as well.
Elaine Doherty says, can you please wish Trudy good luck?
Thanks,
so
Elaine.
I'm not sure if you know Elaine or not, but she wanted to pass that on to you. Anything else you want to talk about, Trudy, or mention whilst we're here?
Just, I need to sort of thank my family for the support
this they've given me. Maybe.
I can see my throat closing up here.
That's okay. Take your time, Trudy.
My husband's been amazing. Like, I get breakfast in bed every morning. I don't know how I'm going to get up and go back to work and stuff like that now when reality hits in. And my daughter, do you know that it's the small things? Because every Tuesday when I've gone up for my chemo and stuff like that, I've come home and she said fresh sheets and duvet covers in bed, which I absolutely love, then getting into bed. So it's wee small things that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice welcome home.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's other wee things that can niggle you as well, because the different chemos affect you in different ways. I think the chemo for breast cancer, you lose your hair, and it's a huge thing for people losing their hair. But the chemo that I've been getting, I've full head of hair. And it says to me like, God, you don't look sick at all, you've got your hair. And I was like, yeah, but I'm pooing into a bag.
God gives with one hand and takes with the other. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Trudy's such a courageous and uplifting lady, friend and colleague whose glass is always half full, and inspiration for us all. So I presume that's your work colleagues.
Well, I'm hoping for my glass to be full very shortly.
I'm still recovering from St. Patrick's. I can't say nothing about glasses. No, I'm only joking. I was a good boy. Right, so Noel's your hubby, isn't he?
Yes,
Noel.
yeah.
Okay, well done to you, Noel, and your family as well, and your friends and stuff.
Absolutely.
And I think even too, Trudy, today, even if it's not if people don't need to go to the doctor or anything like that, there, I think even just in the way you've spoken about it, you'll have lifted people's spirits and all that kind of stuff.
Do you know what? Talk about your poo.
How does it feel?
Don't be embarrassed to talk about your poo.
Yeah, of course, poo is good to check on and stuff. How does it feel about being? Do you know how you said you have had no sort of exposure to cancer as such? Thank God, with family and all. How does it feel to sort of be a cancer survivor? Is that something that you're comfortable with? Or how do you frame it in your life, in your mind?
I'm literally taking one scan at a time, Greg.
Yeah. But I'm on about sort of the label of it, if you know what I mean, because it wasn't there before, and now this is you now, and you've got your bum bag. And was it your bum bag or your belly button?
Belly button.
Your belly button. No, well, you're just the same Trudy.
I'm still me.
Okay.
I don't want to say like, oh, I'm a cancer survivor.
That's it. I was just
I've had
curious as to-
cancer.
yeah, exactly.
So far, it's behind me.
Yeah.
The next scan might be different, and I'll deal with it then.
Excellent. No, so it's subjective, and I think I kind of got a sense of that from you, right? And I thought it'd be interesting to ask because everyone deals with it differently.
Yeah.
And you go, all right, you know, I've beaten it this time, and now me again.
Yeah,
And
I
if
want to
have
get back to work.
Exactly.
I want to get back to my life, and.
All right, well, Trudy, listen, the best of luck with the last couple of treatments. Great news on the most recent scan. Long may those continue.
Absolutely.
And back to work and what have you really, really soon, I hope. It's been absolutely lovely talking about you. It's been lovely talking about your poo. Right?
Let's
'Cause
talk,
we have to,
let's talk about food.
We have to talk about number twos. All right, okay. Listen, thanks so much, Trudy, for everything. Thanks for getting in touch with us. And please go out on Saturday, the 6th of April, to the Greencastle Community Centre. There's going to be refreshment served afterwards in the centre. It's a 5K walk, run, bit of information and what have you. And it's happening in April, which is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. Trudy, thank you so very much for your time. And it's been lovely having you in studio.
Greg,
I'm delighted you're doing so well.
Thanks for having me.
That's Trudy Doherty from Moville.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio.
Hop to it with Easter savings at Tesco with our Board B approved finest Irish Angus fillet barrel now half price. Cross our finest hot cross buns off your shopping list where €2.50 now €2. And crack open large Easter eggs like Cadbury Twirl was €5 now €3. Enjoy a bigger and better Easter. Save time, shop online or click and collect. Tesco. Every little helps. Club card required subject to availability. Available in most stores. Prices vary in express stores. See tesco.ie.
The effects of personal debt problems often go beyond just financial. What we don't want to face can cause us to unravel. Stress eats at you. Relationships unwind. It can feel like life's falling apart. But support is available. Get back on track with the Insolvency Service of Ireland, an independent organisation that helps untangle personal debt problems. See backontrack.ie. Supported by the Government of Ireland.
Make great photos into beautiful gifts at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny. Different gift ideas include canvas prints, freestanding or ready-to-hang art blocks, and personalised photo books, perfect to mark any occasion. There's also jigsaws, calendars, mugs, and much more. For details, visit mcgees.ie. Turn your favourite moments into something truly special with McGee's Chemist Letterkenny.
At Cooney's Home Interiors, we pride ourselves on offering you the very best in choice, quality and value on all home furnishings. Treat your home with a visit to Cooney's today and choose from our large range of suites, tables, beds, not to mention our large selection of home accessories. Our motto is, if you see it, you can buy it, and we will deliver it to your door. Cooney's Home Interiors, Letterkenny Retail Park. Style and perfection at incredible value.
Business Matters in association with the ATU Donegal Faculty of Business. Now is the time to realise your potential by enrolling on the part-time degree in business. Only 3 years with just 1 evening per week on campus. Open up your future by contacting the faculty office on 9186206 or visit atu.ie today.
Right, now the Business Matters podcast from Highland Radio is available for you right now to stream on our website and listen at your leisure, or your leisure, sorry. Its presenter is Chris Ashmore, and he is in studio with me this morning. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Greg.
Right, okay, so are we going to start with some news here?
Yes.
A company.
Yeah, there's a company called European Green Transition. Now, its chairman is a Donegal entrepreneur, Cathal Friel, and they're planning to float on the London Stock Exchange. The company, it basically focuses on assets and businesses that are connected with the whole move towards green energy. And its portfolio includes a number of exploration projects. 2 of them are in Sweden, one's in Germany. And it's all about looking for things like lithium, which many of us may know, is used for electric vehicles. So there's big demand for that. And there's also metals called dysprosium and terbium, not I'm not familiar with them, which I'm told are used in the manufacture of wind turbines. Now, in Europe, there's a big push on to source these materials for the green energy sector and to lessen the reliance on supplies from China. So an area of growth, and shares in this company are set to trade after Easter. So it'll
one
be
of the
interesting to
options
see.
for lithium is scraping the seabed, the European seabeds, which obviously could be problematic. I'm not saying that that's what this company is involved in, but that's one of the alternative sources of lithium, because obviously the way it's mined at the moment is a little controversial.
Indeed.
Right, okay, we were talking earlier on about these new posters that Donegal petrol stations and others might have to put up, but an angle on this is the compulsion to do so.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. Fergus Sharkey, the head of business supports and transport with the Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland, he's saying that, there will be compliance checks. Representatives of the petrol station saying, look, there needs to be a bedding in process, a bit of consultation. But the bottom line is, in the near future, you will be driving into your petrol forecourt. Now it applies to forecourts with more than 3 pumps, and you will see a screen and it'll say 100 kilometres of petrol will cost you X, and diesel and green. Do you know what? It's not a bad idea. Gives you an idea of the cost.
How you aggregate it, though, will be interesting.
Look, it's like these
variables.
Yeah, one to watch. To watch.
Scala.
Yeah, Scala. This used to be known as Scale X, local enterprise office. It's basically a program run over 11 weeks, targeted at startup entrepreneurs who are in a good place to go for global growth. Might have a great idea in Donegal, but has a potential elsewhere. So you go through the local enterprise office. Deadline for application is April the 4th, and there's all sorts of advice and mentoring there, and worth looking at if you have big ambitions.
Yeah, a lot of effort is required, and some would say is happening to try and get more property back into use, be it commercial or derelict. And there's a new funding stream for the council that's going to work in that direction.
Yeah, we've heard quite a lot about this. Basically, €4 million being provided to Donegal County Council under what they call the Urban Regeneration and Development Fund. They have identified some 44 vacant or derelict properties in the centre of Letterkenny. There's a number of grants available to support people, and the whole idea is to get these vacant properties back into part of the housing stock, or indeed maybe to purchase some of them and then sell them on. But it'll be certainly a better scenario than having a lot of vacant rundown properties.
No problem. Now you keep an eye on wind. What does February? What happened in February?
Well, February, we keep an eye on this. The wind energy report. Wind energy provided 41% of Ireland's electricity in February. And if you take the first 2 months of this year, it was 38% of the country's power. So those figures gradually going up as time goes on.
It's a great high figure. Is that electricity generated? Because we've heard that a lot of it can be lost on the network. I wonder, is it electricity used or electricity generated?
It says energy provided, so I must check that out. And actually, on a not unrelated matter, on the farming programme last week, we were talking with about the subject of using these big batteries to store electricity, and there's a number of companies already in negotiations with farmers about leasing land, and that's something that we're going to see more of, because as you say, if it's stored, we can use it, when we need it.
I mean, the wind can be blowing all night, and I know we're going to look at other things, but the wind can be blowing all night, but people aren't using electricity.
Exactly, so it's a waste.
It's about how it's being used rather than generated. Okay, I love myself a traditional full Irish breakfast. I'm actually really quite boring because I don't eat out terribly often, right? But even if I go for lunch, if it's an all-day breakfast, you can't beat someone else cooking you a fry.
Yeah, it's hard to beat. I knew you'd like this one. Yeah, you have that sort of all-day breakfast look about you.
Yeah, you on about my physique?
Yeah. No, just those. I can imagine you tucking into the fry. Anyway, the reason we're talking about it.
He's weight shaming me.
The Central Statistics Office does many things. One of them is it provides these quirky little stats now and again, and they've just come out about the cost of the traditional full Irish. So they actually look at the cost of bread and butter, which have fallen slightly in price compared with this time last year. But eggs, tomatoes, pork sausages, the best back rashers, as well as mushrooms, are up in price.
Mushrooms are very expensive.
Yeah, they've gone up a good bit.
But you can keep the mushrooms.
Milk has dropped a little bit. Tea's gone up a bit. Overall, the ingredients for your much-loved fry, Greg, are 2.3% dearer now than they were last year.
What is your price limit for a fry-up?
Now, that's a very good question, because they do vary.
I won't, and I'm going to come across as really tight here. I would be uncomfortable going over 10. €10 to me. 10 or less is the fry-up ceiling.
Yeah, I think 10, 12, which is quite common now, but does it include the coffee? Some places do, and that makes a big difference.
Anywhere I go includes it.
Yeah, and that makes a big difference.
I have some lovely breakfast, but normally it's on the 10.
No, you're right. There's a price point. I was in a hotel in Belfast, and it was 18 sterling for breakfast, and I was there not included in my overnight stay, and I thought 18 sterling, I could just go nip round the corner. It would need to be very good. Maybe as much as you can eat nice top-end breakfast. Buffet.
I don't think, I think the quality of the meat served with breakfast here, sausages, the white pudding and the bacon, I don't know you can go any more top-end than that. Do you know what I mean? But funny enough, I would be a place I used to go, but they changed their bacon, and that was enough for me to go somewhere else.
Yeah, no,
it wasn't price-wise, it was just actually the type of the bacon.
And the black and white pudding, I mean, the difference between the cheapest of cheap and the really good stuff.
I've noticed too that obviously people update their menus, but a lot of menus I've seen have the black pudding scribbled out because not a lot of people eat it. Now, I think that's a crime against food, not to eat black pudding. It's delicious. In fact, I would say it's nicer than white pudding. But I've noticed a lot of the restaurants have black pudding scribbled out.
Right. There could be a survey in the making.
And yet they keep the tomato there, and I have never eaten the tomato. I always say, right, I'm going to try it last. Do you know the half a tomato? Never got round to it. Yet I eat tomatoes. Okay, but not like that. Right, okay, so the cost of, at least the sauce cost, the materials cost of an Irish breakfast, up to a 3%. What is the upper limit that you'll pay for a breakfast? Me, it's a tenner. But if it's really nice, I'll go 12 maybe. But, as I say, I don't get to do it very often.
Treat yourself.
Right, okay, so I'm just thinking about food now. New development at the Letterkenny Community Centre. Is this our last piece of news?
Yeah. Big development, work on a major £1.4 million new building set to begin next week at Letterkenny Community Centre. In fact, it's next Wednesday. The first sod will be turned by the Mayor, Kevin Bradley, and it's a new community building, state-of-the-art dressing rooms, and it's basically to cope with the demand. If anybody who knows it passing by, there's a lot of people there all the time, and they've run out of dressing rooms. They can't handle the number of people going through, so it's a big development for them. So I've been speaking with Philip O'Kennedy, the chair of the management committee, and also to Liam O'Donnell, manager at the centre, who has been giving details about the project and just why it's needed.
Yeah, well, suppose the Letterkenny Community Centre is a multi-purpose facility. We cater for all sports, and probably we are a victim of our own success. We have to try and facilitate all the different groups that are using the centre on a day, a weekly, monthly, yearly basis. What we're going to build here, adjacent from the Astros pitch here, is a community room and 2 dressing rooms. The reason for it is the lack of changing facilities within the centre, especially when we built the AstroTurf facility here. We have only 2 small dressing rooms and a small room, and as time has gone on, we just saw that there was a need for extra space for teams that are travelling from all over the country now here, to give them the area that's needed.
Philip O'Kennedy there. No, sorry, that's Liam. Sorry, that's Liam O'Donnell there. And you also talked to Philip O'Kennedy. Okay, sorry about that, Chris. My word, you'd swear I'd said something terrible. I've never seen you move so with such vigour and
full of energy after me morning fry.
Come here. We were listening intently to Liam there. Now, of course, Chris has already listened to Liam. but Chris actually can tell me where his favourite breakfast ever was. You know, you're like Donald, you hold on to information.
Yeah.
It was not only in the hotel, but also where it was. Your best breakfast in the world ever was in...
Well, actually, since I told you, another one has come to mind. But number 2 was it was formerly the Radisson in Cavan, which has since been renamed. I'm not sure what they call it now. But it was basically a massive buffet. And, you know, when you have that smoked salmon and yogurts, and I just went to town on it.
And which is number 1 then?
Number 1 was the Ritz-Carlton in Parscourt in County Wicklow. Oh, Greg, it's just...
What a memory. Okay, brilliant stuff. All
Incredible.
Right, fantastic. Okay, brilliant. Chris, now that podcast is available for you right now to stream or download from our website, Spotify or iTunes. I believe it's there too. I've never actually checked, but I imagine it is because I'm told to say it every single week. And if people want to listen to it on the radio, Chris?
Yes, after the 6 o'clock news on Sunday. And if you want to contact me about the show, it's businessmatters@highlandradio.com. I must dash because the all-day breakfast finishes at 12.
The all-day breakfast finishes at 12.
It's a bit Irish, isn't it?
It's a full Irish. Back after these.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
Deirdre's at the Diamond Carndonna are having a one-day only mega stock clearance sale in Angreenan Hotel Burt on Sunday 24th of March, starting at 10 a.m. Come and grab some amazing bargains. Many brands slashed to clear. Do not miss this great sale.
Discover comfort with iHeating and Cooling, your trusted heat pump engineers and Mitsubishi approved service providers in Donegal. We design, install and maintain cutting edge heating systems. Build a lasting relationship with us through annual service and comprehensive after sales support. Contact us for a free consultation on low cost, low carbon heating solutions. Visit iheatingandcooling.ie today.
M&S has a hot cross bun for everyone this Easter. For the traditionalists, they have luxury fruited hot cross buns. For the chocoholics, there's the extremely chocolatey hot cross buns. For the cheeseheads, extremely cheesy hot cross buns. And for those who need no invitation to indulge, the new extremely caramelly hot cross buns. And they're all two for €4.50. And for those who don't like hot cross buns, try a crumpet or something. These are not just hot cross buns. These are M&S hot cross buns. Selected stores subject to availability, T's and C's apply.
Join the team at Homeland Letterkenny this weekend, Friday 22nd and Saturday 23rd of March, for our big paint event, with exclusive offers running all weekend. Chat with our experienced paint centre team and special guests. Meet and greet with the Dulux dog from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday 23rd. For more information, visit homeland.ie.
At Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, we know a good pair of trainers makes all the difference. Whether you're running marathons or training for your first 5K, we stock all the leading brands, including Asics, Brooks, and New Balance, with different styles and features to suit individual running needs. Call in store or shop online at michaelmurphysports.ie.
For new perspectives and a fresh vision, join me, Greg Hughes, on the 9 till noon show every Thursday at 10:15 for your voice, your community. Okay, you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show. Just interesting, something popping up on social media from Kevin Doyle, who is the group head of news, executive editor with the Irish Independent. He has posted, told this closely guarded secret will be significant. People being contacted since 6 a.m. to coordinate, but for now it's all being kept within government buildings. A political earthquake, major announcement expected from the Irish government at noon. So obviously something to that, because you wouldn't go public with that unless there was something there. We'll keep an eye on that. About 15 minutes away. I haven't a clue what it's about, if I'm honest with you. Right, we cross to the United States of America, and Mary Ziegler is there. I hope I pronounced your surname correctly, Mary.
You did. Thank you.
Lovely to have you with us. So you are born and raised in Allenstown, Pennsylvania. You're living just outside Washington, D.C., but you have strong connections to Donegal, and you want to pursue those further.
I do. I have a grandmother who was born in Donegal near the little village of Dewry. My grandfather's people also came from Donegal near the Loch Salt area of Dunloe. So I have been, I think as I've gotten older, I've gotten more and more curious about their background. Of course, I grew up with my Irish-born grandmother. She left Donegal when she was a young child. So now I will be visiting Donegal in the fall, in September, and I've decided to start putting together the pieces that I can.
So your your grandmother's name, this is the lady that was born near Doochary in 1889. Her name was Anna Cannon, and she was the daughter of Francis Cannon and Mary O'Donnell Cannon. And you believe a lot of their immediate family emigrated to Pennsylvania. Do you believe any remained?
None. I don't believe any of the immediate family left or stayed. I believe that my grandmother, her parents, and her siblings all emigrated. I do understand that my great-grandfather was one of 12 sons. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are some distant cousins.
Right, okay. And this is intriguing. You don't have an awful lot of detail, and I think, understandably, you don't expect anyone to remember the family because so much time has passed. But listen, let's not rule anything out, okay? But you have a hand-drawn map that gives an approximate location of the family home. What a wonderful thing to look forward to. It's like something out of an adventure, isn't it? But was this map handed down? How did you acquire it?
This is a map that was drawn by my uncle, Father Robert Brown, one of my grandmother's youngest son. He visited Ireland several times, visited Donegal, visited the Doory area.
Can I just pause you just for one moment, because it's quite significant news here from Ireland. Our Taoiseach, Leo Varadkar, is to stand down as Taoiseach and Fine Gael leader. This is just for the listeners. So we'll have more details on that in a moment. But Leo Varadkar is standing down as Taoiseach and Fine Gael leader. Now, I'm not sure what has triggered that, but stay with us. We'll keep you updated on that. Mr Varadkar will stay on as Taoiseach pending the election of a lone leader of Fine Gael. Attention will now turn to his replacement with a contest expected among several ministers. Of course, Paschal Donohoe, Simon Harris, Simon Coveney, Heather Humphreys are among the names speculated upon the race. But what we know at this time is he is to announce at noon from government buildings that he's stepping down as Taoiseach. So we might actually roll the show over. We'll see what's going on there in the meantime. Mary, I'm very sorry to trouble you, but it's a really quite significant bit of breaking news there.
That's big news. He was just here a few days ago.
What did you do to him in Washington, D.C.? Anyway, we'll get more to that in a moment. Sorry, I got distracted because of the significance of that news. The hand-drawn map, how did you acquire that, sorry?
That was a map that was drawn by my uncle, Father Robert Brown, the youngest son of that Irish-born grandmother. He visited Ireland and Donegal many times. And so he put together this little roughly drawn map for the rest of us so that if we visited, we could find the family homestead.
And of course, also, you'd like to visit the church. Your uncle, Father Robert Brown, sadly passed away, said Mass there when he visited. There's an altar bell engraved with his name, or with the name of your great-uncle, Patrick Cannon. He donated it to the church in Doochary. So if anyone's in the area that would like to sort of meet with you, chat to you, talk about the history, tease some of this out, is that kind of what you're interested in, Mary?
Yes, I would love it. As you said, I certainly don't expect anyone to remember the family, but I would love to know more, to understand more of the history of that area during those years.
Lovely stuff. It's been lovely speaking to you. We have contact details. Anything you wish to add, Mary?
No, I know you have big news to take care of today, so thank you for taking the time with me.
No problem. We really do appreciate that time. And just to recap on that breaking news, and I'm not really quite sure as to the reason why, but we can tell you that Taoiseach Leo Varadkar is to stand down as Taoiseach and Fine Gael leader. He's due to make the announcement in a planned photo call at noon in the courtyard of government buildings. The wider public first became aware of the pending announcement after reports of frantic meetings in government buildings this morning. The Cabinet met this morning for the first time since the defeat of the referendum. Ministers were also away in St. Patrick's Day duties last week. Ministers were alerted to expect the announcement following a Cabinet meeting. So that's a developing story there. As I say, I'm just thinking on my feet here. Hopefully, if that were to start directly at 12 noon, we might try and bring you the audio of that. So don't tune away. We don't know exactly why he has decided to make this decision at this point. But as I say, stay with us and we will bring you that information if we can. 086 60 25,000 is the 086 60 25,000 is the WhatsApp and text number, or you can give us a call on 074 91 25,000. So what kind of questions might be asked with Leo Varadkar due to make this announcement? It's at midday, as I say, during a press conference. Will this trigger a general election? Well, the sense is that it will not trigger an election. So they might actually just sit tight and see what comes from there. Apparently, there'd been extensive speculation or intense speculation about Leo Varadkar's future as Taoiseach. I wasn't really au fait with that because, you know, I know there are people that are maybe dissatisfied with some of the work he's doing or what have you, but I wasn't aware that there was a big push on for him to be replaced. It's really quite significant news. Is it off the back of the referendum defeat? Is there something else going on? I simply don't know, and there's no point speculating. But we will try and get someone to comment on that, and also, hopefully, if that starts at 12, I would like to bring you, if possible, I'd like to be able to bring you that announcement from the Taoiseach. It doesn't happen in this country very, very often that we will see someone, the leader of the country, stepping down. But as you say, we heard from Mary. He was just over in the United States. A lot of ministers were away. I'm not sure if the pressure is coming from the ministers or within the party or within the coalition. I don't know. Simply, we don't know because we're only speculating. Stay with us. We're going to take the 12 o'clock ad break, the one we'd normally play as we head towards the news at 12, just to give us a little bit of space to see if we can get further reaction to this news, which has literally just been sprung upon us.
Refresh your shoe wardrobe with the latest arrivals from Green Shoes, bringing you the latest styles from top brands such as Riker, Birkenstock and Wonders. Also, New Balance, Bugatti, XTI and many more. Step into style this season with Green Shoes, Market Square, Letterkenny Shopping Centre and Fulcara, or at greenshoes.com. One for all and Shop LK cards accepted.
Look no further than iMotors for your next car.
With a vast selection of top quality used vehicles to choose from, we have something for every budget and lifestyle.
Whether you're searching for a reliable starter car, a spacious SUV or a sleek sports car, our friendly team is here to help you find the perfect match.
Visit imotors.ie and discover why we are the go-to destination for used cars in the Northwest.
If you're with FBD Insurance and your van gets robbed, it's not a flippin' bloomin' disaster. That's not what FBD stands for. FBD stands for support. We support van owners like you by covering your work tools up to the value of €500 if they're stolen with your van. FBD Insurance. Support. It's what we do. Visit your local branch to talk to your FBD Insurance team. Requires valid van theft claim. Excludes electronics and software. T's and C's and normal underwriting criteria apply. Underwritten by FBD Insurance plc. FBD Insurance Group Limited, trading as FBD Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Highland Radio weather updates with Ireland West Airport. Time to book the family summer holiday. Fly to Barcelona, Faro, Milan, Majorca and much more for a perfect family getaway. Ireland West Airport. Don't just take off, take it easy.
Today, largely dry with sunny spells developing later this morning, although cloud will increase again this evening. Highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees. Okay, so as we are learning, Taoiseach Leo Varadkar is to announce at 12 that he's stepping down as Taoiseach and Fine Gael leader. The Cabinet has been meeting in government buildings in advance of this announcement. This morning there had been intense speculation about the Taoiseach's future. John McAteer, editor of the Tyrconnell Tribune, is with us. John, what do you think has triggered this? Good morning to you.
I think it's the referendum results. We've been writing about it. We're writing about it again this week. I and many others read the referendum results as a massive vote of no confidence in the government, and no matter which way they seem to spin it, that is more and more coming to be a reality. Plus the fact that Varadkar has lost 10 very important TDs. Those seats will not all be held easily. He has done a Pacific course. He will be seen, strangely enough, on Monday. I was writing an editorial about the fallout from the referendum, and we're just saying that Leo Varadkar will be seen as a loser. He lost the Dublin Bay by-election. He has lost 14 or 16 seats in the last general election, and now he has lost 2 referendums. So the knives, I would imagine, were out in the long grass of the Fine Gael grassroots. It was being talked about, but not seriously. Nobody would have expected this because we're so close to a series of elections, the local and the European elections, and obviously will this precipitate a general election, and who will take over in Fine Gael? Who will take over as leader? Where does that go? Or do we go right into a general election? I'm not too sure. The news has come as quite a shock. There's no point in saying otherwise, because he's a very young man, pretty experienced nowadays. There's going to be a lot of speculation about who will replace him and about the exact reasons why he is going. But obviously, his time is up, and that's about it.
It's just not the type of accountability that we're familiar with in Irish politics, and I don't mean that cynically at all. It's just not something we see very often, to the point whereby I'm actually a little bit shell-shocked that it could be for those reasons. But I suppose when we talk about who is to say what the TDs who are choosing to no longer stand for Fine Gael, who's to say what they're saying as they're heading out the door, has that increased pressure on him?
I think really, Greg, the issue is they're all relatively young. Maybe there's 1 or 2 retiring on health grounds or age related. But relatively speaking, the Brendan Griffins in Kerry in his 40s, Joe McHugh in his early 50s in Donegal, those are 2 seats that they could lose. They could lose numbers of seats in Dublin. Leo Varadkar, probably they've done internal polling as they continuously do, but I'd imagine they've had a long, hard look into the abyss of what the general election could be for them, and it just does not look good.
Okay, Donald Kavanagh is with us as well. Stay where you are, John McAteer. Donald Kavanagh, like yourself, been covering politics for a long time. Listen, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it seems like, is there anything else there? Because this type of accountability in Irish politics does seem incredibly rare, Donald.
I suspect, Greg, and like you, I'm utterly shocked by this, and I'm guessing too. I suspect Leo Varadkar has been sat down by some colleagues and told, here's the deal, Leo, jump or get pushed. Kieran Cannon announced that he is not running in Galway. Again, as John was saying, another young man. We have, this is 20, I think, Fine Gael TDs now not running in the next election. The referendum loss was huge. I mean, if ever there seemed to be an open goal in terms of getting a referendum victory, this one would appear to have been it. And they managed to blow it. And I think, it's accountability in the sense that Leo Varadkar is heading a government which has been seen to have had the biggest referendum defeat in the history of referenda on an issue that on the face of it should have been a gimme, and it's being seen as Leo Varadkar's failure. And he, has they use the term Bertie the Teflon Taoiseach back in the day, and like Bertie, Leo would have had that slight aura of invincibility about him, but just like Bertie too, that slight aura of invincibility has now been lost. I suspect he's been sat down by colleagues and given the ultimatum, jump or be pushed. Yeah, it's just with some of the investigations that have been ongoing and looking into sort of elements of his political career and dealings. Obviously, maybe it's nothing to do with that, and it is simply down to what we're speculating on. John, can you stay with us for the announcement?
There's no bother.
No, stay where you are. Donald, stay there too. We're going to take a quick break. John will be with John Bresson just in a couple of moments. We're going to see how timely this press conference is at noon.
With a high digital online skills course, you'll feel a real difference.
I can listen to all the music I like. The bus app that's coming out, it's brilliant.
Anything you want to know, it's at your fingertips.
They're small things, but they mean something.
Learn essential online skills with simple, accessible lessons at highdigital.ie or free phone 1800 20 30 30. Brought to you by Vodafone Foundation and Alone. Vodafone. Together we can.
Testing. Do you need to get your hearing tested?
Test your hearing with a free sample hearing aid from Hidden Hearing. Order your free sample hearing aid today. Call 1-800-370-000 or visit hiddenhearing.ie.
Bluebird Care are currently recruiting carers and nurses across Donegal, with immediate starts available in Letterkenny, Ballybuffet, Inishowen and Donegal town areas. Your career with Bluebird Care starts here, with new attractive pay rates, travel assistance, paid training courses and ongoing career progression opportunities. Why not contact Bluebird Care on 074 91 29562 or learn more at bluebirdcarecareers.ie. Bluebird Care, more than just a career in care.
It's the last week to snap up tickets for the fundraising gala concert of the year. Longtower Church Derry presents two internationally acclaimed acts, the Priests and soprano Margaret Keys, in St Colum's Hall, Derry, on Palm Sunday, 24th of March. Tickets just £25 sterling. To book tickets, call Longtower Parochial House on 02871 262301 or check our Facebook or website for online sales.
Okay, this is the 9 till noon show. We're running a little over 12 and we appreciate John Bresning allowing us the time, because we are waiting for Taoiseach Leo Varadkar to step out side government buildings and to deliver the news that we know now, that Leo Varadkar is stepping down as Taoiseach and Fine Gael leader. John McAteer, if it is because of the departure of Fine Gael TDs or pressure from within Fine Gael, or indeed the outcome of the referenda, do you think he'll reference that in his speech?
He may well do, because I think this has come as such a shock. Whoever expected a headline news like that just days after he returned from a very successful trip to the US, and they would seem to have been coasting along down to the local election day and on the 7th of June in the EU elections. But the referendums have floored Fine Gael. They've not floored Fine Gael, but they've floored Varadkar in particular. The Fine Gael grassroots couldn't give a hoot, because I hold the view that people just did not go out to vote for the referendums. They went out to have a whack at the government, have a whack at the leader. And I think, as Donald there says, he was just sat down and said, look, you go or you're pushed. And I mean, I suppose, in a way, the same happened to Enda Kenny, really, And there's no easy way around politics. He's there 7 years. The party hasn't improved in this time. They lost seats in 2016, from that high of 73 in 2011, 16, and then they've lost over 30 seats in that time. And Varadkar's new leadership just didn't work for them in 2020, even though he was there 2 years.
I take everything what you're saying on board, but and I'll go to Donald on this one. I still can't believe that he wouldn't, if it's for those reasons, just ride it out. It was a relatively poor showing in the last election. He talked of being content to go into opposition, and indeed he said it might be good for Fine Gael to have a period in opposition. It's just, again, not the level of... If I was not on air, I would definitely be saying there has to be something else to this, whether it's revealed today or not. But again, maybe that's just my initial reaction to really quite a bit of a shocking announcement today.
I was listening to Ivan Yates' podcast, the Paths to Power podcast that he does with Matt Cooper, and indeed Ivan was on the programme with you a couple of weeks back promoting that, and it's a really interesting podcast. And he did say on the last edition of it, when they were discussing the fallout from the referendum, that Ivan Yates believes, a former Fine Gael cabinet minister himself, he believes Fine Gael could go to as low as 28 seats after the next general election. Now, when you, as John was saying, when you look at how many seats Fine Gael there were in the 70s under Enda Kenny, less than 15 years ago. When you look at those figures, I mean, to go from that down to 28 is a huge plummeting. And I think, again, maybe who it is, we're not sure yet. Potentially Simon Harris, I mean, who's seen as the new generation of Fine Gael. But if it's someone like Simon Harris has sat down and done the sums and said, look, whatever chance we have of implementing a change now and rebuilding before an election, if we just let it slide and just sort of vaguely float into an election with the expectation of opposition, that's going to show a party defeated. And is that going to garner support?
But how did they keep it a secret if that's the case? I mean, this is not a government renowned for being watertight in terms of information. You know, there hasn't been, I don't think, there's been some commentary, but there hasn't been broad speculation about Leo Varadkar's opinion, of discontent within the coalition or sort of within the cabinet. It's just, again, the two things surprise me: A, accountability, but B, the fact that this information seemingly has been kept quiet.
But I think that's because it's internal within the party. If it was within the coalition at the cabinet table, that's different. A cabinet table is always going to leak. A coalition is going to leak because you're going to have differing political forces. This doesn't seem to be... I don't get the sense that this is coming from within the coalition. I mean, Micheál Martin is probably sitting back, licking his lips now, thinking, this is wonderful. This potentially is playing right into Micheál Martin's hands and playing into Fianna Fáil's hands, because Fine Gael, this is someone within Fine Gael, and this is I could be further out than Fanad Lighthouse here, but my take is this is someone in Fine Gael says the only chance we have of any kind of a decent election showing, whenever the next general election may be, is that if we have a new leader in place now and we start the rebuilding.
And I am not questioning you.
And if that's coming from within Fine Gael, they're going to keep that tight. And again, they've gone to Leo and they've given Leo an ultimatum, and he's seen the way the wind is blowing.
I just don't see how he gets the hammering for that result when it is a government decision to hold a referendum, because this effectively could be him saying, right, I've gone, lads. Now it's time for you, Eamon Ryan, and you, Micheál Martin, to go as well. That's what's making me wonder what the motivation behind this is and what that pressure that puts on the remaining leaders of the government. Do you take that point, John? Like, why... I can't imagine that. Imagine that Leo Varadkar wants to be the fall guy for this referendum, and that to be his his last political act. Why should he be the fall guy?
Well, as Donald was suggesting a little while back there, they've got to find a fall guy somewhere. It wasn't in Fianna Fáil. Eamon Ryan, probably not, because he doesn't rate that highly in the polls. So Leo Varadkar was the obvious one. It was a non-campaign. Nobody was out on the doorsteps. There was very little on television. Heather Humphreys never appeared once. And I suppose it was just the biggest mess up in politics probably for 50 years, that he led them into a referendum that they thought that the one point they were thinking of winning at 25% against. You know, that evaporated, and he had no response to it. And I think that failure of the Taoiseach, and he's the leader of the country, he had no response as that campaign swung. They probably totally misread it as well, and Taoiseach is probably most guilty of that. Right. But like at the end of the day, his time was up.
We're still waiting on him for him to come out. I don't know really how much longer we can wait, because we'll be covering extensively in the 1 o'clock news. But the podium is at, again, Donald, I just don't, again, what does this say to sort of, Roderick O'Gorman, who was effectively the person that led this out? I mean, if the leader of Fine Gael is going, can the Green Minister stay in situ, if this is the reason that Leo Varadkar is stepping out of politics? Well, I can't wait to hear what he has to say, because if it is over that, and I'm sure it is, right, fair play for calling it, but I'm a gut person, and I just can't see that that's the reason. But as I say, I'm starting to sound like a wild conspiracy theorist.
If this is it, I mean, it raises a couple of questions. I mean, does he stay on as caretaker Taoiseach, or does he sit down? Does he step down now and does somebody else take over? I mean,
apparently he's staying on.
He's staying on as a caretaker until another Taoiseach. Now,
so that means it's not a controversy.
Does that means then presumably a new leader of Fine Gael is elected, and then that new leader of Fine Gael is proposed as the new Taoiseach in the Dáil? Because I mean, the other option would be perhaps the Taoiseach taking over, which I mean, Fine Gael is not going to take that in the month of Sundays. I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest, Greg. I'm as taken aback as most people are, as you are. I certainly wasn't expecting this to be what I'd be doing at 12:15 today. And it's really a matter of what Leo says, and I mean, we're going to have to wait until he says what he says.
Okay.
Now,
well, listen, he could. This could be deferred to 1 o'clock. So what we will do is we waited just perhaps as long as we could. Donald, are you doing headlines? Are you?
I can do headlines now. Yeah, certainly.
Okay. Right. Okay. Listen. Apologies again to John Breslin, who we've delayed his programme, but the Taoiseach was due to come out at 1, and it would have been at 12. Sorry, and we could have brought that, but it's just not happening. John McAteer, listen, thank you very much indeed for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, take care of yourself. But before we go to those headlines, Catherine Noons, a former Fine Gael senator, regular contributor to this show as well. Catherine, you like we perhaps looking at a TV screen waiting for the Taoiseach to explain why he's taken this decision. How shocked are you?
I'm really shocked, Greg, to be honest. I saw the news flash up probably, and it took me definitely.
Why do you think he's taken this decision?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it was breaking up a little there, but I think it's cleared up. Why do you think he's taken this decision?
I'm here and the coverage is never great, but what did you say to me there? Am I surprised by it?
Yeah, I mean, do you think this is because of the outcome of the referenda? Do you think this is because
No. I'd say it's a combination of factors, Greg. I'd say, speaking from personal experience, politics has become a very toxic career, to be honest. And the referendums won't have helped. The fact that there are 10 TDs not standing in the next election who've decided just not to go forward, I think it's a combination of all of that.
Do you think it'll be interesting in his comments how pointed he is as to the reasons behind his decision?
I'd say he will give the reasons. He never holds back, I was just waiting to hear, like everyone else is, there in the sitting room, just to see, the rationale behind it. But as you'll know from watching him on the media over the years, he's likely to be quite clear and straightforward in his comments about why he's not going forward. I heard speculation there on RTE1 that he might take the commissionership. There's a new commission. That hadn't heard anything about that. So really, my guess is as good as yours as to why exactly, if he's got a new role in Europe, which they're speculating about on RTE, or if he's got another role lined up to go to, he won't have any difficulty getting a job. But it's a shock.
Yeah. Do you think he was pushed?
No. I don't.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think he has been. I mean, I was chatting to a few colleagues recently. Fine Gael haven't been doing as well as they might like to be in the polls, but it's difficult for a party that's essentially been in government for 3 years with or without others. So, that's likely to be a factor as well, and how difficult the next election is going to be for the government parties. As I said, lots of colleagues, strong supporters, deciding that they're not going to go for the next election. And then I think probably the overarching feature of just politics is...
Does it leave the government, though?
It's a well-paid job, but it's difficult.
Of course it is. Yeah, we've talked about that many times, Catherine. But does this just say, for instance, this is about accountability and the referenda? Does this not then put pressure on, the Green Party, maybe even Roderick O'Gorman and Fianna Fáil, who also, are as responsible? You could say as Fine Gael. It makes them kind of lame duck, does it not? If that is the reason for his announcement.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I don't think it'll be a singular reason for it. I think it'll have added to a lot of other things that have, that are on the horizon or have happened that are adding to his reason for deciding this. That would be my gut on it.
He's about to take to the podium, so I'll let you away. I'm sure you're as interested in this as the rest of us are.
So I can chat to you again about it.
All right, thanks, Catherine. Okay, we will stay with this because he's about to make his announcement.
Hello everyone, I'd like to thank you for coming. I'd like to read a brief statement. I've had the privilege to serve for the past 20 years as a public representative, 13 as a member of Cabinet, 7 as leader of my party, and most of those as Taoiseach of this great country. It has been the most fulfilling time of my life. Working with colleagues, I've had the honour of helping to lead Ireland from unemployment to full employment, from a budget deficit to budget surplus, from austerity to prosperity, through a pandemic in which we saved lives and livelihoods, through Brexit when we prevented a hard border between North and South and protected our place in Europe. I'm proud that we've made the country a more equal and more modern place when it comes to the rights of children, the LGBT community, equality for women and their bodily autonomy. More recently, we've led the country through an inflation and cost of living crisis, the worst of which is now thankfully behind us. We've made significant steps towards affordable childcare and universal healthcare, making access to both more affordable for more people. We've made work pay better, with the implementation of a national living wage, statutory sick pay, lower personal taxes, improved family leave, allowing parents to spend more time with their children in those crucial early years. I'm happy that during my time as Taoiseach we were able to honour my commitment to double spending on the arts, culture and sport. This is making a real difference now and will continue to do so into the future, fostering and assisting the artists and the sportsmen and women of the future. We provided leadership by increasing our spending on international development, and we've expanded our diplomatic footprint around the world, building on Ireland's already considerable soft power. The National Broadband Plan is underway, bringing fibre-based internet connections to every home, school, business and farm and community in Ireland, which the critics said shouldn't be done. We've established the technological universities and the Rural Development Fund, and since 2011 we've quadrupled overall annual investment in public infrastructure. That's meant considerably more investment in priorities like housing, healthcare facilities, school buildings and climate action. And I am deeply proud that we as Irish people welcomed over 100,000 Ukrainian refugees to our shores when they needed our protection, notwithstanding the challenges this brings. In my time as Taoiseach, we reduced consistent poverty and income inequality. Housing construction has more than doubled, with 500 people becoming homeowners each week for the first time, the highest number in almost 2 decades. Of course, there are areas in which we have been much less successful, and some in which we have sadly gone backwards. But I hope you'll forgive me if I leave it to others to point them out on a day like this. They will receive plenty of airtime and column space. When I became party leader and Taoiseach back in June 2017, I knew that one part of leadership is knowing when the time has come to pass on the baton to somebody else, and then having the courage to do it. That time is now. So I am resigning as President and Leader of Fine Gael effective today, and will resign as Taoiseach as soon as my successor is able to take up that office. I've asked our Party General Secretary and Executive Council to provide for the new leader to be elected in advance of the Ardèche on Saturday, April 16th, thus allowing a new Taoiseach to be elected when the Dáil resumes after the Easter break. I know this will come as a surprise to many people and a disappointment to some, and I hope at least you will understand my decision. I know that others will, how shall I put it, cope with the news just fine. That is the great thing about living in a democracy. There's never a right time to resign high office. However, this is as good a time as any. Budget 2024 is done. Negotiations have not yet commenced on the next one. The institutions of the Good Friday Agreement are working again, and our trading relationship with the UK in the post-Brexit era is settled and stable. The new Taoiseach will have a full 2 months to prepare for the local and European elections, and up to a year before the next general election. My reasons for stepping down are both personal and political. I believe this government can be re-elected, and I believe my party, Fine Gael, can gain seats in the next Dáil. Most of all, I believe the re-election of this three-party government would be the right thing for the future of our country, continuing to take us forward, protecting all that's been achieved and building on it. But after careful consideration and some soul-searching, I believe that a new Taoiseach and a new leader will be better placed than me to achieve that, to renew and strengthen the team, to focus our message and policies, to drive implementation. And after 7 years in office, I don't feel I'm the best person for that job anymore. There are loyal colleagues and good friends contesting local European elections, and I want to give them the best chance possible. And I think they have a better chance under a new leader. I am standing aside in the absolute confidence that the country and the economy are in a good place, and that my colleagues in government from all three parties, Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and the Greens and the Oireachtas, will continue to work hard for the nation's best interests. On a personal level, I've enjoyed being Taoiseach, leader and a cabinet member since March 2011. I've learned so much about so many things, met so many people who I'd never have got to meet, been to places I would never have seen, both home and abroad. And I am deeply grateful for it. And despite the challenges, would wholeheartedly recommend a career in politics to anyone who's considering it. However, politicians are human beings and we have our limitations. We give it everything until we can't anymore, and then we have to move on. I will, of course, continue to fulfil my duties as Taoiseach until a new one is elected, and will remain as constituency TD for Dublin West. I know inevitably there'll be speculation as to the quote-unquote real reason for my decision. These are the real reasons. That's it. I have nothing else lined up. I have nothing in mind. I have no definite personal or political plans. But I'm really looking forward to having the time to think about them. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my party, my coalition partners, particularly Micheál and Eamon, my constituents, colleagues and staff for their loyalty and their phenomenal work, and I'm going to thank them all in person in the near future. Most of all, I want to finish by thanking the people of Ireland for giving me the opportunity to serve them, and I promise I'll keep working for Ireland and my community in any way I can in the future. Thank you very much.
Okay, and there you have it. It's as if he was listening to our speculation actually in advance of that announcement. He doesn't have another job. Doesn't have another job lined up. He simply is had enough. He says he's making the decision for public reasons, to give his local election, European election candidates the best chance of re-election, to give his party the best chance of re-election, and also for personal reasons, which I think quite interesting that Catherine mentioned or referenced there in her piece. Okay, that was the big breaking news. It doesn't happen too often, so we extended the 9 till noon show for an extra 20 odd minutes. Again, our thanks to John Breston for accommodating that. We'll be back tomorrow with, I'm sure, more reaction to that news